WHB Postgame Show, presented by the Missouri Lottery. Remember to play it forward with the Missouri Lottery and CBD American Shaman. Life is better with a feather.
That felt a whole lot better. And, believe it or not, the Kansas City Chiefs are now in sole possession of first place in the AFC West. Welcome in to the Sports Radio 810 WHB Postgame Show. I am Joshua Brisco with you here for a little while to break down everything that we saw in the Chiefs' 41-14 victory over the Las Vegas Raiders. Who didn't see 100 yards receiving coming from Darrell Williams today? Who didn't see the Dan Sorensen pick late in the game coming? Who didn't see the Byron Pringle iced touchdown to wrap things up? Oh, everybody? That makes a lot of sense. We talked a little bit right before kickoff on our special last-minute pregame show here. I talked a little bit about a couple of things that I mentioned the last few weeks, so, it's taken some time. But this game tonight, putting the Chiefs back in prime time, putting them up against the Raiders, as the Chiefs are now the only team in the AFC West with 6 victories. Now, teams like the Chargers have already had their bye week, so the Chiefs are kind of a half game up there. We'll figure it out as we go. But I talked about this in the pregame show. The Chiefs had an opportunity tonight to take the steering wheel, not just in their spot in the AFC West, but also in the way that this team gets discussed from this point forward, perhaps. It took a lot of, if I can be a little bit gross in my word choice, it took a lot of offensive constipation for people to start getting kind of out on the Chiefs' offense as a concept. For the national media, which can be a boogeyman. I'm not trying to boogeyman the national media, putting that in air quotes every time. But it did definitely end up at a point where you see some bad offensive production for a while, and then the conversation becomes, are the Chiefs broken? Is Patrick Mahomes broken? Is this team even good at football anymore? Will Patrick Mahomes ever figure it out? Should Andy Reid retire? Is Travis Kelce old now? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so tonight was most likely going to be an inflection point one way or the other. If it would have been another game that looked sort of like the Giants or sort of like the Packers game, then it would have just been status quo, where there's nothing you could really take away from this game one way or the other. It's just, a continuation. And if the Chiefs would have lost this game, even on the road, it would have felt like a little bit of a crashing back to earth after a couple of wins against the Giants and the Packers, where you go, yeah, the team that won that game is what they are. But in the grand scheme of things, they're just a team that can beat Daniel Jones and Jordan Love. And the best possible outcome for the Chiefs tonight, I'm not going to even exaggerate this. I don't think I'll have to. I think the best possible outcome is the one that you just watched. Tell me what could have gone better there for the Chiefs. And not that the Chiefs necessarily care about this or that you should care about this in terms of those big picture narratives, because those get blown out of proportion, right? And yet it's kind of annoying when every time you turn on ESPN, you see the bottom third of, are the Chiefs broken? If you're a Chiefs fan, which I think there's a pretty good chance you are if you're listening to this show right now, if you're a Chiefs fan, that gets kind of annoying. Because you've been watching this team over the course of the Patrick Mahomes era, and you know that they're still good at football, that Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, and Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid are all amongst the very, very best at their positions. But also, it stinks to watch things just be bad for a while. to get this performance tonight, where the Chiefs were in control the whole time, put up a 40-burger offensively, held the Raiders to 14 points. Even the special teams, who had with the Mike Hughes fumble, that looked like it was going to be the unit that was a little bit wobbly, or at least the one that was putting you behind the 8 ball at the time. And then you get a Tommy Townsend fake punt to convert a first down on 4th, and I think it was 7. Tommy Townsend to Marcus Kemp. Yeah, I think I will. I'll you know what? I'll take one of those. Thank you very much. It was a dominant performance against a good football team. The Raiders aren't perfect, but who is? Tampa lost to Washington today. The Jags beat the Bills last week. The Broncos beat the Cowboys, and the Cowboys turned the Jets on today. The NFL is wild. The Raiders lost last week to the Giants after looking like perhaps the most complete team in the AFC West for a stretch of time. And now, again, with just the context of everything that you have watched over the course of this season, I don't know what else you could ask for from this game tonight. Was Mahomes 100% perfect tonight? No. But I think that that's kind of a silly thing to try to gauge anyway, because Patrick Mahomes, missed throws on his way to 50 touchdowns and 5,000 yards. He hit more than he missed, but you've got incompletions that fall. Just those incompletions were happening on 1st and 2nd down for the most part, and on 3rd down, there were touchdowns. That's kind of the split. So much of it is situational. The Chiefs had some good luck in different places tonight. Tyreek Hill had the ball bounced out of his hand and then basically just dribbled it off the turf, picked it back up, and kept moving. Deshaun Jackson had a touchdown that Rashad Fenton just saved with 7 points worth of hustle. Gets down, Jackson turns funkily, and Fenton punches the ball out. That should have been a touchdown for the Raiders. But that luck is not a bad thing. It's certainly not a boogeyman. You say, oh, you've gotten lucky. That means you're about to crash back down to earth. Not always. Sometimes you're so unlucky that eventually you're going to float back up to the surface. The Chiefs have had some terrible turnover luck this year. Passes that hit Jerick McKinnon's face mask shouldn't always be caught by the other team. So that kind of stuff has just happened to this team this year. Tonight they had some good luck, which is just a positive regression. What else could you ask for? One other thing, and I want to hear from Patrick Mahomes because he spoke to the 41 crew, or the NBC crew, I guess 41 to us. But he spoke to, I think, Michelle Tafoya, I think is who he was talking to. I sort of saw it for a second, and then I was back on my post-game grind. But we'll get to that in 1 second. I want to point out one other thing here. I want to tell you the reason that I am the most confident that what we saw tonight was not just a desert mirage in Las Vegas. It's not that Patrick Mahomes threw for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns. And it's not that Travis Kelce was 8 for 119 in his best game in a while. It wasn't that Tyreek Hill was 7 for 83 for 2 touchdowns. Do you know what it was? Do you know the thing that I am genuinely, like, this is actually the thing I'm most excited about? Do you know what I'm most excited about from this game? Rashad Fenton punch out, Dan Sorensen pick, Darrell Williams 100 yards receiving, Byron Pringle touchdown, Darrell Williams a touchdown of his own, Noah Gray touchdown. How long has it been since you went, you know what? The supporting cast of this team really did their jobs this week. Second half against Washington, I guess. That Noah Gray touchdown was a real Jody Fortson-style touchdown from earlier in the year. Obviously, he got hurt and hasn't been back since, won't be back this year. Dan Sorensen has literally been Voldemort. Like, saying his name has become something I've tried to not do too often because I don't want to just talk about one guy getting dunked on all the time because it's not just his fault. Rashad Fenton had the defensive pass interference early in the game that kept the Raiders moving in the red zone. Later in the game, he forces a touchdown-saving turnover. We've talked so much. I still think the Chiefs should have ended up with Odell Beckham here. I don't know if they tried really hard and just got outbid. I don't know the inner workings of that. But I thought that adding Odell Beckham to this offense would have been a meaningful addition. Because a third pass catcher had not stepped up. And look, I'm going to say some names here that are not going to be their third pass catcher for the entirety of this season or for the next 5 years or any of that. But you get 100 yards out of Darrell Williams. You get 4 for 46 in the touchdown from Byron Pringle. You get an explosive play from McCole Hardman, just the one, but you get a couple plays from Demarcus Robinson. You have other dudes who are actually contributing over the course of this game. Again, Tommy Townsend. You're getting contributions from all over the place. And that's one of the things this team has been lacking. And it's a hard thing to put your finger on because if your team is struggling and also your quarterback is struggling or superstar MVP, $500 million quarterback is struggling, then you're going to point your finger at that quarterback, and rightfully so, instead of pointing your finger at Byron Pringle. This team being 500 early in the year is not Byron Pringle's fault by any means. However, whenever the Byron Pringles of the world can make a play, again, it can be Noah Gray, it can be Dan Sorensen, it can be Rashad Fenton. But whenever you have other dudes moving the needle for you, and it's not just about Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes, or on the other side of the ball, I mean, you could pick any number of those guys, but I don't know if it was about anybody on this defense in a positive way at any point this year. Today, Jarran Reed was in the backfield, forced the throw on the Dan Sorensen pick. Derrick Nottie had a late sack. Chris Jones was playing outside a decent amount, but also was impactful, had that batted pass late in the game. Frank Clark, I think, was probably less impactful today than he has been a couple of recent games, but he's been impactful in recent games, and I'm sure that the specifics of his charting today, I would assume that I missed some things I just didn't see live because you're watching a lot. You had one bad play from Anthony Hitchens, covering one-on-one vertically. But other than that, did you notice a really brutal Ben Neiman play? Nick Bolton didn't get torched in coverage at any point to my eye. There wasn't a time when I went, put Willie Gay on the field, because I saw him on the field quite a bit. This was obviously good for the stars. Mahomes, Hill, Kelce all have good games. But everything just sort of felt like it was humming a little bit tonight. On both sides of the ball, on all three sides of the ball. I couldn't tell you definitively the last time that I thought that. Oh, you know what? The Chiefs kind of were just humming today. Was it the AFC Championship game last year? Maybe. Andrew Wiley was starting at right tackle, definitively their third choice at right tackle. And there were a couple of times where he got beat. Orlando Brown Jr. had his hands full with Yannick Ngakoue, and Max Crosby had a couple of good moments, also a couple of bad ones for the Raiders. It just didn't end up mattering that much because the Chiefs were the better team in every aspect. I don't know exactly how much you want to say, I'll lock this in. This is the real Chiefs for the next 8 weeks or whatever. 7, I guess. This was game 10. Yeah, because they're 6-4 now. So the next 7 games, 8 weeks into the playoffs, which they're going to make, by the way. I always would have bet the ticket on the Chiefs make the playoffs, but I certainly am more confident right now than I have been. Also, it's just huge to get a divisional victory here. On the road, no less. Just a lot of good stuff here. We'll take some calls. I'm going to read some comments from the various video feeds and all of that. We'll have press conferences in a little bit. We'll have Patrick Mahomes for you here in like 2 seconds. Lots of stuff to get to over the course of the show tonight. If you want to get in touch, but the phone lines are full as they are right now, you can watch the show live on the Sports Radio 810 Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube channels. You can tweet at us at JB Brisco is my Twitter handle, at Sports Radio 810. We've got Beards McFly on the other side of the glass, Rudy Salazar, making sure everything else is firing around the building. And it's all brought to you by the Missouri Lottery. Remember to play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. More play, more power. Powerball now on Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. And brought to you by CBD American Shaman. Free CBD samples every day. Let's hear from Patrick Mahomes on the field immediately after the game with NBC.
Patrick, you found a lot of ways to score tonight, and you guys scored more points in this game than the last 3 games combined. What changed tonight?
Yeah, we just stayed with the process. We didn't listen to the outside world. We kept practicing, doing what we do. We knew we were going to find ourselves, but this is just one game. Now it's about how can we stack them on and continue to get better.
You talked about getting the ball out of your hands and letting your guys make plays. There was one play in particular, Darrell Williams, 4th quarter. You find him right at the end zone. You're escaping prey. Take us through that. What happened?
Yeah, it was a play that was designed not for him at all, but he just kept working down the field, and I was going to scramble, and then I just saw him at the last second. He probably saved a pick. He always tells me he's a receiving running back. I didn't believe him, but I guess I have to believe him now.
You got to believe him tonight, right?
Yeah, exactly.
What did you see from your defense that was encouraging?
Yeah, I mean, every single week, this last few weeks, they've been holding us in games. They've been battling. This is a really, really, really good offense that they went up against, and they did a lot of great things. They kept us in the game. And then they let the offense kind of go at the end there, and they didn't let up at the end.
Congratulations on the win, Patrick.
Yeah, appreciate y'all.
It's Patrick Mahomes. He doesn't believe that Darrell the Barrel is also a receiving threat. Respect that man's hands. That play was incredible, and you heard Mahomes there say that was not a designed Darrell Williams out of the backfield little loop sort of deal like you saw from Damian Williams many times. Just kept working. Ended up in the end zone, monster dude. Darrell Williams, not the biggest pass catcher on this roster. Among the smaller ones, I would imagine, at least in terms of height. And went for 100 yards receiving tonight. It's just good stuff, man. It's just, I think I've gotten the majority of my, like, bullet point takeaways here. So I'll start taking some calls. But it's just nice to talk about a game that went like that. Where it's, I don't feel like we have to get all the way deep in the weeds to try to find some sort of solution. I guess if you wanted to play that sort of game, you could try to dig in on like, hey, so what changed to get to this point tonight? And I think to some extent, and maybe you could look at how the Raiders played this defensively. It didn't seem like they're doing quite as much too high safety stuff. It's very hard to gauge that accurately from the broadcast view, though. Sometimes those safeties are out of the frame, or one of those safeties is out of the frame. And you have to do some guesswork or be counting guys at the, from the broadcast view and figure out if it's 10 or 11 or 8 or 9, I guess. It's just nice to see everything working. And again, in terms of like an explanation, it just, unless we find out that the Raiders really bungled it defensively, it just sort of feels like the Chiefs have kind of been knocking on that door for a little while. Sometimes more successfully than others, obviously. The Titans game was a nightmare. The Giants game was annoying. The Packers game, Mahomes played pretty well, but the guys around him didn't. And now they're back in first place in the AFC West. Seems kind of right in some way. Real quick injury update here. The only injuries out of the Chiefs' side of things here, Willie Gay and Charvarius Ward were both dealing with some stomach illnesses. So that report came down for Ward. He was ruled questionable. I didn't see that about Gay until now, but no actual injuries there. And if that was COVID related for either of those guys, they would not be playing or would have been, swooped away in an unmarked van or something to take care of that. So presumably just some sort of stomach illness, I believe might have been the phrase. We'll hear from Andy Reid a little bit later. But healthy outside of that, and a really nice performance from this Chiefs team, which is, again, just a nice thing to see. Let's take a few calls starting at the top. Sean, you got in first. You lead us off tonight. What's on your mind, Sean?
Hey, how you doing, bud? Yeah, I
good.
just want to say a great win. For a few weeks or months or whatever, they was writing the Chiefs off in the critics on sports stations and everything. And I just want to say I'm very impressed by the defense. They played great tonight. I believe the Raiders, were they the leading scoring offense in the NFL?
I think they were at some point. I'm not sure if they were coming into the game tonight. They very well could have been. They were in that class for sure.
Well, I know they was averaging over like 30 points, and the Chiefs held them to 14 tonight, which was great. Offensively, they got their bounce back, and we're back in first place. It's been disappointing, but it's reminiscing of 2019 season when we went through this type of drought.
Yep.
And it seems like it's happening again. The defense is picking up. Offense is playing good. And, go Chiefs. Let's carry it on and move forward.
Appreciate the call, Sean. I'm with you on 100% of that right there, really. Just the whole way down the line. It's a good performance on all sides. And, look, if you want to... I don't want to overextend to say like everything is perfect now because, again, next week against Dallas is going to be really interesting because that's a good football team, and this is the Chiefs coming off of a victory that hopefully will carry that momentum and all of that. I wanted to get the point totals here because I want to figure out where the Raiders were exactly. So this will be now. They were. Well, no, they're down a little bit. I'm not exactly sure what the stat was. Maybe it was in the AFC. It's probably in the AFC West. I'm almost certain that they would have been the highest scoring offense at least at some point there. But they've been a very productive offense at points, and obviously that changed tonight, which is a wonderful thing to be able to look at the Chiefs on both sides of the ball and go, they did their job. They handled their business. Just fabulous. Next up, let's go to George. What's up, George?
No, that's just it. I'm going to have to be a downsayer.
That's fine.
The Chiefs cannot do well against the Cowboys. No. But, last week I said that I wasn't going to call in because how can the Chiefs only score 13 points and still make themselves look better than the Cowboys last week? It was terrible. This week, the Chiefs score 41. The Cowboys score 38, and or 36, excuse me, and they still look better than the Cowboys. Well, 43 and 43, well, whatever it is.
Yes.
It was 43. They scored that last garbage touchdown.
Right.
It's still, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not happy.
George is a Cowboys fan, in case anyone's new to this show.
Yes, sir.
Cowboys fan first, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it's quite all right. Sir?
Yes.
I'm going to bite my nails. I am. It's which team of which side is going to show up?
Yep.
Or either side. I'm happy that Pringle got his touchdown. I'm a Pringle guy.
Yeah.
I'm happy that we got a sack. The Chiefs got a sack. Although, what's happening tomorrow in Lee Summit?
I don't think I do.
Ooh, Mahomes burgers are coming to town.
Oh, yeah. Whataburger's open tomorrow. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's huge.
So
I'm going to put my insulin in my bag and get out there.
Oh, absolutely,
Have
boss.
some carbs.
Yes, sir. So, granted, and now I gotta go buy $41 in groceries at the grocery store to get my points.
Look, that's the good news is that next week right now, it was 43 points for the Cowboys today, 41 points for the Chiefs, although the Cowboys also had the greater margin of victory there. They won by 40. The over-under next week could be just firework emojis, and I would still take the over, I think.
It's gonna be fun.
Yes.
I guess it's the only way I can say it. It's gonna be fun, but at the same time, oh.
Thank you, George.
Adios.
I look forward to hearing from George next week. That should be extremely entertaining. Well, he's always entertaining, but next week especially so. I'm going to see if we can clear through this phone board before we get to pressers. Let's see if we can get there. I don't know if we've ever successfully done that on a post-game show, but I'm going to good news. The Chiefs won by a lot, and it was a fun game. So let's see what Mark has to say about it, about the effort there. Mark, hit me.
I'm here. What I won't talk about is the Cowboys.
Fair. Appreciate that. Next week.
It won't be. It'll only be fun if we crush them. Anyway, there's really, I mean, we can nitpick this game, but I agree with you. There's really not a whole lot negative to talk about. I was a little nervous at the beginning of the game that the Chiefs were using their old recipe of starting off hot and then trying to kick themselves with a turnover, but they turned it around. Just a couple things that I want to highlight that I think were important tonight. And Mahomes built on, I think, last week. If you look, if you watch the film, I think you'll see he's very mindful now of him not kind of ditching the pocket.
Yeah.
There was a couple times today when it looked like there was pressure and he wanted to run, and he kind of did, then stopped himself. And so, for sure, it seems like it was a focus, and he's corrected it, I guess. I mean, the Raiders supposedly had or have a good pass rush. Good pass rush. So to see it against a team like the Raiders is a positive. The other thing that I would say is it was I mean, the narrative that the defense has, it's just they've totally flipped the narrative. I mean, they're playing like a top 15 defense right now. I mean, they're pressuring. They did give up a few big plays tonight, but I mean, it's hard for me to believe that Melvin Ingram is that big of a impact. I think it's more about getting Frank Clark healthy, and Melvin Ingram allowing Chris Jones to go back inside, which and it's just the only thing that's frustrating is, I think we probably gave away a couple games in order for Spagnuolo to realize that Daniel Sorensen shouldn't be starting. I think we would have showed up a lot better in some of our early games had he made that switch earlier. So, but anyway, lesson learned. We are where we are now, which is in first place. So, I think things are looking up.
I agree the whole way down there, Mark. Appreciate you listening. Appreciate you calling in. Because I think that the one thing I wanted to focus on there that sort of sprung to mind when Mark mentioned it, Melvin Ingram has made a difference so far. But I absolutely agree that Frank Clark getting healthy, and look, it's almost impossible for any non-quarterback to be worth almost $30 million against your salary cap in a salary cap sport, right? It's just, that's a really tough thing for anyone to do. And so I'm trying for the remainder of this offseason, or for the remainder of this season, and this will change for me in the offseason. We'll talk about him differently in the offseason. But for the remainder of this season, Frank Clark is on the team, and the cap is pretty much figured out already. So I'm not trying to take that too much into account, so I can say him getting healthy and being productive is so important to what this team wants to do. I mentioned this in our little mini pregame show today. The pass rush getting right and just being productive. It was an underachieving unit. If they could just they don't have to overachieve, but if they could just get back to achieving, the defense changes. Because that's how the defense is built. They say, hey, we're going to let our pass rush try to get home, and then we'll see where we go from there. That's happening. It has happened. It's continuing to happen. That is a legitimate game changer. And I just think right now, Melvin Ingram is exaggerating that, in a positive way. He's accentuating that. But, Jarran Reed made by 1,000 miles his biggest play of the season, just getting to Derek Carr and floating that to Dan Sorensen. We'll hear, speaking of chief safeties, we'll hear from Tyrann Mathieu in just a second. So if you're on hold right now, you may have to hold up in a holding pattern there. We're making great time, though. But Mathieu appears to be on his way to the podium. Should be interesting to hear what he has to say about that defensive effort. Just 14 points led by the Chiefs defense. Here's Tyrann Mathieu.
Everywhere, defensively, you deal with what teams are going to present to you next. You know what I mean? So it took us obviously more than a couple weeks to kind of start to communicate and see what teams are really trying to do against us. But we got some good coaches, and then the guys we got on our team, they're all in. So we knew we was going to get there, and we still feel like we could be much better.
Does that speak to you guys sort of neutralizing Darren Waller so much in this game, that it wasn't just one particular guy in the secondary, that it was a collection of everybody?
I think, obviously, I think during the course of the game, obviously, he wasn't necessarily featured as much as he's been featured in the past. I thought Spags had a couple, wrinkles for him. I think Melvin, bumping him sometimes at line of scrimmage. Obviously, me covering him. Sneed, certain situations, just trying to mix up the looks that he sees, and I think it's going to pay a lot for us, going forward.
It seemed like you were on there and all quite a bit. How did that challenge come about, and what did you see from just yourself personally taking that down?
I mean, every game from here on out is a must-win game for us. That's really how we're looking at it. Every game is important. Every series is important, and those critical down the businesses, you want good and good. You want whoever you think your guy is and whoever you think their guy is, let's play. So I thought Spags had a great game plan, and for me, I just try to, flow with it.
Are you seeing similarities between what's going on recently on defense and where you guys turned it around in 2019?
I'm not necessarily looking back. And going to the last two Super Bowls, they don't crown champions in October, November. So, like I mentioned, we know it's going to take some time. In the last couple of years, it's taken us, quite some time to kind of start clicking, but we believe in it. And I think at the end of the day, that's all that really matters.
Yeah. Talk about the resilience of the team. Of course, when you mentioned 2019, you all had that loss to the Tigers, and you turned things around. You had the big loss this year in Nashville. Now you've all been on a 3-game winning streak, and now you all are now back in first place in the division. What type of resilience are you all seeing right now within the locker room?
Yeah, man, we got a strong team. We got a strong character. I think our coaches are, well seasoned, and experienced, and so, we know that we have a chance and we have a shot. Every time we prepare, each and every week, and at the end of the day, it comes down to execution. And that falls on the players. And I thought tonight we executed the right way, and I thought our coaches did what they needed to do as well.
With the help of the defense, now that you're seeing all the players, including with the inclusion of Melvin Ingram, is this what you thought that this defense would be at the beginning of the season?
Most definitely. I think we're going to continue to get better. Just like the last couple of seasons, I see us being one of the better defenses, when it matters the most late in the season.
Kirby, along those same lines, what kind of a message is a performance like tonight send to the rest of the league and even some of the doubters that were out there coming into this weekend?
I mean, listen, man. I think it's always going to be people kind of nitpicking, and everybody has expectations for the Kansas City Chiefs. Being that we went to the last couple Super Bowls, but I mean, this game is hard. It's ebbs and flows, it's ups and downs, and but I wouldn't want to be in this with nobody else. I think Spags is one of those guys I would want in my foxhole, and I could go on and on. So those are the things that we believe in, and so that's what we're going to continue to believe in.
Last week we'll start. The Sean fumble was just kind of a wild play for your band.
Yeah. I mean, I think the football guys was on my side. I think I was supposed to have the interception, so I think he was just looking out for me, man. But that's another thing, man. When you got guys playing fast, we can make up for others' mistakes, and I think we're trending towards that. We don't even do mess up. It's somebody back there that can kind of make it right, or somebody up front that could disrupt it. So, but yeah, I thought, football gods, man.
Okay. Yeah, Tyron, Andy Reid opened up saying hats off to the fans here. Fans we talked to called this Arrowhead West. What did it feel like down there on the field? Were there a lot of fans here?
Oh, no, it was real. I think, obviously, during the national anthem, and, obviously I was expecting to hear home of the Raiders, but I think home of the Chiefs was kind of drowning them out. So we knew that we had a lot of support in the building, and our fans travel well. And I think anytime they, really support us, that gives us that extra confidence as well.
Last two, Sam, and then we'll go here. You mentioned Derrick earlier. What have you seen from him, especially recently, the last couple of weeks?
I mean, he's coming into his own. I know he probably, weren't making the plays early in the season that I thought he would make, and he thought. But he's coming along, man. I think the whole world will know his name by the end of the season.
Last one, JB. Tyron, it's been a long time since we said the Chiefs in first place. How does that feel?
I mean, it feels good. like I said, man, we're not crowning anybody in November. So we got a lot more games left, and so we got the Chargers coming up, the Cowboys. We got some big games coming up, and that's really where our focus should be at. But obviously, with the way we started the season, to be in this position is very humbling, and so we just got to keep it going.
All right, thanks, Tom.
There you have it. It's the football gods. The Chiefs got the football gods back. Maybe that's the explanation for what has been going wrong these last few weeks, and with the success of tonight's effort there. Whatever it takes, whatever it ends up needing to be, it's good news for the Chiefs. I also thought that I don't know who asked it. I'm not trying to hone in on anybody, but like, if you're asking a player about like the haters, the doubters, or whatever, I think that's always kind of loaded, right? Tyreek Hill coming to the podium now, soon, immediately? Soon, we'll hear from Tyreek Hill. But I thought Matthew's answer there about, hey, everyone has expectations. We're a team that's been at the very top of this sport now these last couple of years. We didn't meet those expectations, and now we're starting to again. That's exactly where you want to be. Here's Tyreek Hill live from the podium from Las Vegas.
The guy's great. He's unbelievable. Shout out to the guys up front, too, protecting him all night. So I was able to do my thing down the field.
What are you seeing from Patrick, or have you seen in these recent weeks as the production and the numbers haven't been what we've been accustomed to as far as his psyche and keeping,
Oh, okay. Pat, as great as he is, I feel like he has learned, how to, take what's given to him, like whether it's check downs, because teams are like beginning to like take the deep shots away from us, so he's been doing a great job, studying film, spending time with Derrick, Coach EB, Andy Reid, and his quarterback coach, and just, learning how to, improve his game even more. So, like I said, man, I can't ask to be in a better position, with a better quarterback. So we're all very fortunate.
You weren't worried about him, were you?
No, never, because, he's a guy that never gets comfortable. He always trying to get better. He's always trying to find ways to improve, himself, the team, because believe this or not, without him, we don't go nowhere, so he knows that.
Did you see a difference in his demeanor at all this past month, though?
No. The guy's still the same guy, cocky, which is good, just still believing in himself, so still the same guy.
And also, you mentioned just taking what's there. How much easier is that said than done? You're a guy that obviously came into this league knowing as a guy that could take that.
It's hard, man, especially for me, man, because I'm used to going 80 every play, so, man, I just, Coach Reid, he got to just keep me calm on the sideline, because I'm a head case, man. I'm used to going, like I said, going down the field, and now guys got me running 12-yard ends, and that's not something I'm used to. So we're all adjusting our games, so that's why we in the NFL,
Kind of along those lines, I assume you think this is the best game you guys played this season. As you guys chase, sort of the best version of yourself.
Right.
How is that going to look different than the best version of yourself in the last couple of years? How is this team going to be different?
I feel like there's always ways to improve, I can't speak for nobody else on this team, but I can speak for the, receiver room because I am the veteran of that group, But I feel like as for us, as a wide-out room, we can improve our blocking, we can improve our route depth, and stuff like that, just so we can be on time with Pat, to give him a clearer picture, instead of just, if we got a 12-yard route being at 7, and stuff like that. So, there's always ways to improve. Even though we put up 41, we probably could have put up 60. So, who knows?
Terry, it's been a few weeks where Travis has kind of dipped in production. Obviously, it looks like he's kind of playing through some injuries. Just how nice was it to see him sort of get back on track? And what has he sort of shown you at this stage of his career to still be able to be a reliable source for Patrick?
Yeah, he's still, he's arguably probably one of the best tight ends of all time, So, his mindset is always, trying to keep his swagger, he kept saying that on the sideline, So for him, man, it's tough, because guys are in there banging him around, doubling him, each and every play, So I mean, like I said, as great as he is, like his mindset is to always dominate and be the aggressor, you know, and tonight you saw that, you know, guys were trying to double him and do his thing. Like he was still able to break free, you know, and get open for Pat.
For you, how much do you need Travis's voice at this point? Like you said, if he's the one talking about sparking on the sideline, how much of that is needed for this particular group?
It means a lot, man, especially like coming from a guy like him, you know, because like he easily can say, you know what, I'm just gonna show up and just play, you know, but instead like he's that vocal leader that you need, you know, just to hear, like even for me, like I'm 6 years in and it feels good for me, you know, just to hear that confidence booster from Trav, you know. So I mean, he's definitely a guy, you know, that we need, you know, to bring that energy.
Last one, yeah, with the impact that he had in the passing game tonight, does Daryl Williams get a key to the receiver role now?
Excuse me? Excuse me?
How impressed were you with what he did in the passing game, and especially that big long touchdown?
Who's Zeus?
Daryl Williams.
Oh, Daryl?
Yeah.
Oh, that was crazy, man. Like, hey, to be honest, like I did not see Daryl down the field at all, you know, so I was kind of, so like when Pat was scrambling doing his thing, I'm like, dang, is he past the line? Then I seen him throwing it. I turned around and I seen Daryl. And I'm like, I know he is not finna just throw this at Daryl. And this big booty tail jumped up there and caught it. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's wild, you know? So they made a play, man. You know, like Greg Lewis, ex-receiver coach, he got them boys going up top, you know? So a little fun fact for y'all.
No doubt. Thanks a lot, man.
There's Tyreek Hill live here on Sports Radio 810 WHB Kansas City, Sports Radio 810 WHB Postgame Show. Greg Lewis, by the way, he mentions there, he's the running backs coach now because the former running backs coach went to the college ranks, but Greg Lewis was the receivers coach previously, so maybe you are seeing a little bit of a resurgence there, getting them boys to go up top, as Tyreek Hill says. We are partway through our locker room report right here on Sports Radio 810.
The Chiefs Locker Room Report is brought to you by Twin Peaks. No one does football like Twin Peaks. Whatever your preference, they have everything from tequila cocktails and an extensive bourbon category to top shelf spirits and cocktails served over ice balls. Local craft beers and handcrafted whiskey cocktails round out an adventurous drink menu, second to none. And don't forget about their 29-degree man-sized drafts at Twin Peaks.
All right, we're going to take a quick time out here on the Sports Radio 810 WHB Postgame Show. Again, my name is Joshua Brisco. Beers McFly on the other side of the glass. Rudy Salazar running around. Several people have asked about the streaming online and our mobile app and everything. Beards has a mining helmet on right now, a hard hat with like a light on the front. He's crawling around. Rudy's in the ceiling somewhere. So we're working to get that figured out. But if you're looking for another way to enjoy the show, you can watch the show. It does mean you'll have to look at my probably short-lived mustache. But I guess you could just, open it in a tab and listen to the background. You can watch the show and listen to the show on the Sports Radio 810 Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube pages. And you can also leave some comments there. One of my favorite ones so far was from, I don't know how to pronounce their username on Twitch, but they asked, can we get this guy an actual Kleenex? Because I was wiping my nose with a paper towel. And I'm a paper towel nose blower for the most part. I don't know why. It feels like there's good structural integrity? I'm not sure. The Chiefs had plenty of structural integrity on all angles tonight. We'll talk more about their decisive 41-14 victory over the Raiders whenever we come back.
You're listening to exclusive post-game coverage on Kansas City's home for the NFL. Sports Radio 810 WHB. Presented by the Missouri Lottery and CBD American Shaman.
Susan, I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic is terrible.
It sure is. But on top of that, gas prices have been skyrocketing. I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Get Upside Gas app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Get Upside app?
Yes, up to 25 cents a gallon cash back every time I buy gas.
And does that actually add up to anything?
Some months I make $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Get Upside app now.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play to save up to 25 cents a gallon when you buy gas. Use promo code BILL for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 50 cents a gallon on your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or any gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code BILL for up to 50 cents a gallon cash back on your first tank. That's code BILL.
You've trained for this all year. Endless hours of cardio, conditioning, and weights. And now you are ready. Ready to trek back to your seat from the concession stand. Through the lines, lost fans, and that mascot who wants you to do a little dancey dance, all without spilling a drop of your ice-cold Bud Light. Welcome back to football, sports fans.
Your Kansas City Acura dealers are partnering with quarterback sensation Patrick Mahomes in support of his charity, 15 in the Mahomies, a foundation dedicated to improving the lives of children by focusing on health, wellness, and providing resources for communities in need. Test drive any Acura at J. Wolf Acura and J. Wolf Acura of Overland Park, and they'll make a donation on your behalf. Plus, you'll be entered for a chance to win a Patrick Mahomes jersey. Shop, save, and make a difference at your Kansas City Acura dealers.
What's up, Kansas City? Jake Gutierrez here to tell you about my friends from Lightstream, a division of SunTrust Bank. Are you thinking about the high interest rate credit cards you used over the holidays? I am. When it comes to refinancing your credit cards, you've got options. But only Lightstream was ranked #1 by J.D. Power for customer satisfaction with personal loans. Lightstream's credit card consolidation loans start at just 5.95% APR with autopay and excellent credit. You could save yourself thousands in interest. You can even get your money the same day that you apply. Apply today for a credit card consolidation loan from the company J.D. Power, ranked #1 for customer satisfaction and personal loans. Plus, get an additional interest rate discount simply by going to lightstream.com/Jake. It's lightstream.com/Jake. Subject to credit approval, rates range from 5.95% APR to 19.99% APR. Include 0.50% autopay discount. Lowest rates require excellent credit. Terms and conditions apply. Offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/Jake for more information.
Hear exclusive Chiefs coverage every week from the best in the business. Only on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Trent Green, Adam Schefter, Tim Grunhard, Adam Teicher, Matt Derrick, Adam Kaplan, Chef Shadia, Nick Leckie, Gary Barnett, Sam Mellinger, Bill Moss, Mark Bullrichter, Stan Weber, Sam McDowell, Seth Kaiser, Blair Kirchhoff, Kevin Harlan, Field Yates, Jesse Newell, Cynthia Freeland, and Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Listen up, sporting fans. Central Bank of the Midwest invites you to score a better banking experience with our new sporting checking account. Now you can show off your team spirit at the match or on the go with the official sporting debit card. Plus, you'll gain access to Central Bank's award-winning mobile app with more than 30,000 reviews and a 4.9-star rating. So, score big today by opening your sporting checking account at any of our convenient Central Bank locations or by visiting sportingchecking.com. Member FDIC.
More play and more power with Powerball with Double Play. For an extra $1, players have the chance to win up to $10 million in a separate drawing. Plus, players have 3 nights a week to play Powerball. Now Monday nights. Every ticket you play creates opportunities for Missouri students. So play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. Play responsibly.
Hi there, Gary Giles with Giles & Jewelry. Everybody knows Giles & Jewelry is the place to buy an engagement ring. Thousands of diamond rings, quality second to nobody. Come on into Giles, 95th and Antioch, right in front of the big high V. Giles & Jewelry, we're the jewelers you'll recommend to your friends and family.
Giles & Jewelry, for the best that's yet to come.
Snap, Tommy Townsend's going to throw, and it's going to be caught for a first down. Marcus Kemp makes the grab. So on a 4th and 7, Tommy Townsend throws it to the outside, and it's Kemp making the grab and picking up the first down, 17 yards.
A tremendous play and a great call. It's why it's our Andy Reid call of the game, brought to you by Olathe Subaru. At Subaru of Olathe, we put you in the driver's seat. Shop their huge selection of vehicles your way, hassle-free, online, anytime at SubaruofOlathe.com. That drive eventually led to that bomb touchdown to Darrell Williams, who is live from the podium right now from Las Vegas. Here we'll go to Darrell Williams.
You know, with that catch, I mean, that really helped us out. It really set the tone, brought us more energy, and I'm just grateful for the opportunity.
Derrick, can you also explain what you were just saying about the eye contact? Like, how was actually directing you?
No, it just looked like he looked at me, it took his eyes off me, and then just came back to me, and he threw it. And I just had to make a play.
Understood that to be saying something to you?
I'm not saying he was saying something to me, but shit, as long as he threw it to me, and I would have been gonna be able to play.
You said you didn't tell him that you could catch.
Oh yeah, of course. Like I've been telling everybody for longest, I could do everything you need me to do as a running back, whether that's catching, whether it's blocking, whether that's running. I could do every single thing.
So you had 9 targets and you made 9 catches. So no squandered opportunities in the passing game. But for a running back to get a 100-yard receiving game, which you've never done before in your career, can you just tell us what that's like? How satisfied are you with that?
Very satisfied. I think the biggest thing is we got the win, but with those 9 catches, just Pat trusting me, throwing me the ball, and I just had to go in there and make a play. I mean, these hands, they work.
You ever think you'd have a game with more receiving yards than Tyreek?
No, I never thought about that for real. Never thought about it.
It's all about opportunities, though, and you made the best of it. I mean, what advice would you give others who are, maybe in your position that's backing up and get an opportunity to make the most out of it?
People gonna always doubt you. People are always gonna have their opinion. As long as you have your that right mindset and have the right people in your corner, and just put your head down and get to work, and don't never stop grinding, because you never know. Just like me, opportunities may come. You never know when it might come, and you just got to make the most of it.
Derrick, when you know your quarterback is playing to the best of his ability, what's that feeling like in the huddle before you guys go out to the next play?
I think that just, as a player, I think that just make you want to play harder. Just seeing him out there just making plays, making D-line miss, scrambling, and just doing those type of things. It just brings energy and make you want to play even harder.
Okay, thanks, Darryl.
Yep. Thank you.
These hands, they work, Darrell Williams says. They work! I've always really liked Darrell Williams. I like whenever they brought him in as undrafted free agent, largely because you went, who was he behind at LSU? Oh, a bunch of NFL running backs who have been excellent. But I bet I'll be able to make that jump. But this game, 100 yards receiving for a running back is hard to do, and he didn't do it all in dink and dunk stuff. He was there for Patrick Mahomes, and again, that's some form of take what they give you, right? Because all of that is, that can fluctuate some in terms of, hey, when is a check down settling and when is it taking what's being offered to you? The Chiefs' offense tonight, I just think really excellently, was a good balance of all of those things. There were plenty of shorter moves and some really, really quick passes. I think one of them was one of those Pringle catches. And a couple to Kelsey as well, where it just seemed like Mahomes clearly had his first read, and it was right there. And he's like, boom, we're going to take 3 yards and move the chains, and we'll get back on it next. And then they did. They mixed in some deep shots. They were able to run the ball pretty successfully. But ultimately, for all the talk of running the ball to try to loosen things up, they had 25 total carries, but a couple of those are Chad Henne kneel downs, and you get, by the way, Blake Bell on the quarterback sneak, the Bell-dozer quarterback sneak. I am ashamed that we've gotten about an hour into this show, and I hadn't mentioned that yet. Again, it's fun. Everything seems fun again. At least it was fun to watch. They seem like they're having fun again, and you get little window dressing trick plays. Some of them work, some of them don't. You bring in Blake Bell, let him do a little motion, get under center, and just jam it up for a couple of yards. This felt like Chiefs football tonight. We're good on pressers, right, Beards? Nothing else that we will have for you live. We will, of course, have Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes for you before too long. But those are the last two that we'll get from the podium. We'll also later talk to our friend Matt Derrick of Chiefs Digest. And again, if depending on where you're listening to the show right now, I think our app / website streaming are a work in progress. Beards is currently covered in grease paint for some reason. That doesn't make any sense. And Rudy just walked out of a room and his hair was completely vertical and sparking.
It's been a day for technical difficulties, man. It's been fun.
Yeah, so I don't know. It seems like you guys are doing some unhealthy, unnecessary things, but we're trying to get it all figured out. Beards has given himself forearm guards, but it's just electrical tape. That's going to hurt to peel off later, Beards.
The good news is, though, you can watch the show on our Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube pages. You know, we might even tweet the links out again.
You know what, Beards?
We should do that.
We should do that. You should do that.
Hey, Rudy!
Facebook.com/sportsradio810 is how you get to our Facebook page, Twitch.tv/sportsradio810, or YouTube.com/810WHB. Also, if this is your first entrance into some of the various chats and everything, Postgame Show is a good time to do it. You get delightful comments. Like there was one from Abacus Finch on YouTube. He said, "The opportunity to view the mustache is a privilege." Thank you. Thank you very much. Also, some very good questions and comments that we'll try to get to. Somebody on Facebook asked if Kelsey got dinged. He has just been getting absolutely beaten for weeks now, and I feel like I haven't seen him get up and look like he's not in pain basically any point this season, but no new injuries for him. The only names in the injury report were Charvarius Ward and Willie Gay Jr. with some sort of stomach illness. So that could mean any number of things. Certainly not expected to be COVID-related in any way, and obviously not super serious because they both got a pretty good amount of work out there. Also, we'll still take phone calls as well, and we'll try to blitz through these three right now. Butch, Dan, and DJ. We'll start with Butch, though. Butch, thanks for waiting on hold. What's on your mind today? I bet you're gonna have a good one for me today.
Gentlemen, how about those Chiefs? Oh, my goodness. Look, I'm not even going to front from the jump. I did not pick the Chiefs to win this game. But I'm glad I didn't because they went ahead and I didn't jinx us, and they went ahead and dominated. Look, I'll give you a few things I liked on offense and defense. I want to hear what you guys say about it too, right?
Yes.
Okay, on offense, I'm just – so when we talked about getting Travis Kelce free, people – will see in the previous games, or like you've probably heard from, some of the other experts you bring in, like Maddie Lane. Maddie Lane and Kent Swanson do excellent write-ups. You already know this.
Yes, sir.
But they note how in that nasty split, they call it a nasty split, where Travis Kelce is mostly ISO'd off the back end of a 3-by-1 formation, you're able to get your hands on him at the line of scrimmage. That doesn't help when you're dealing with injuries specifically to the neck and the shoulder. He's trying to push off. He couldn't as much as he could. Yeah. So what do they do now? Put him in H. Get him off the line of scrimmage. Run him behind in motions. And I think when they start doing this more, have him bluff block and sort of fade out and then catch those short and run long from Mahomes, boy, those were butter all day long. And it slowed down the pass rush. So they went 2 for 1. They got production from their number one target and slowed down the pass rush. Andy Reid is in his bag right now. That's what I like. The other thing I liked about offense, Mahomes didn't take his foot off the pedal.
Yep.
This is what we were looking for, right? The short game and still being confident enough to let it go downfield. When we went through a couple defenders' hands, I don't care because it worked. Yep. 400 yards, 5 touchdowns. Patrick Mahomes had 4 touchdowns off of play action. That's the most in any game since 2016, guys. Wow. This is a formula that I think can work. It's a defense that it was served up for. Don't get me wrong. I think that defense served up a couple to us, but we'll see how it works going forward because I'm encouraged. Defensively, man, what can I say? When the pass rush works, when your best guy, Frank Clark, is rushing with conviction, all of a sudden Jaron Reed pops off. Yep. All of a sudden Chris Jones gets to pop off. All of a sudden Melvin Ingram. It's funny how one elite player get to that level and it can change everything for your pass rush, which is so significant because they were able to rush forward and still get pressure. I'm excited, but I'm tempered because next week against Dallas, you go out there and you win. You have either the convincing win, a tough win, whatever. You go out there, you beat a team like Dallas, all of a sudden the rest of the league's going to be like, Man, where did I write that the Chiefs were broken? And I wrote, okay, let me go ahead and find that tweet and delete it. See a little flavor, baby.
Butch, you're the best. Appreciate it, man. That's 100% call from Butch right there. That is a fully complete, no misses, no skips, banger. The thing I'm most glad he mentioned there is some of that Travis Kelce formation stuff. Some of the 3x1 ISO stuff is one of the reasons that I thought that having Odell Beckham Jr. in this offense would be so much fun, because he could do some of that for you, free up what you do with Travis Kelce. I don't know that I have ever seen the Chiefs have Travis Kelce do the hold up, block, help your guy out a little bit, then release, then be immediately open 3 yards downfield. I don't know if I've seen him do as much of that as he did tonight, ever. I would imagine that has happened some. I'd imagine it's probably happened plenty. I imagine it's been scheme-specific, game-specific, matchup-specific. I'm sure that it's happened. But it felt like they went to it a lot tonight. Or at the very least, they went to it a lot tonight, and it worked a lot tonight. Travis Kelce does not need help getting open very often, but sometimes, Butch pointed out there, some of the stuff from the KC Sports Network guys mentioning there, sometimes you just got to help your guys. Just put them in the best possible situation instead of putting them in a situation you know they can get through. Those are different circumstances. Best possible situation goes down a whole lot smoother than, hey, can you just fight through this and see what you get? And, again, I do think that upon further review, we'll probably look at this and say, man, the Raiders, they did blitz a few times. They didn't play as much cover two. They didn't play as much two safety shell looks and all of that. But I also think that you saw the Chiefs offense doing a lot of things really well, which, as we've been discussing here for a while now, whenever you can do a lot of things well, it means the defense has to be more mindful of everything. You have a defense that's now wondering about everything. Is Darrell Williams going to take this carry straight up the gut for 7 yards? Or is he going to run around downfield and have a 40-yard touchdown reception? What do we do with Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill? Oh, wait a second. Byron Pringle is open for the first down, for the touchdown. That's where this team puts so much stress on defenses. Butch mentioned the play actions. Collinsworth mentioned one of the RPOs. I can't remember which of the... It was in the red zone. I think it was one of the touchdowns. I think maybe it was Noah Gray. I don't know. There was an amount of creativity plus execution plus the performances from your role players plus every element felt like it was working tonight. We were even talking about after the Mike Hughes fumble, me and Beards and Rudy. You know, there's always something this season. Mike Hughes has a wonderful return. Oh, all right, Mike Hughes, this is great. We're going to see them turn this thing around. Ball out, Raider ball. There's always been that sort of nasty aftertaste to anything good this year. Sometimes it's just been a bad taste, period. Tonight didn't really have that. All the good outshined all of the other stuff by so much that you end up at 41-14 feeling pretty good. Now, look, again, there's no guarantee that the Chiefs are unquestioned winners of the AFC, or the AFC West, I should say. There's no question, there's no doubt that there's no certainty, I should say, that they're going to end up being the AFC representative in the Super Bowl. But all that feels possible now. That all feels like it's back on the menu. If the Chiefs would have gone through and missed the playoffs this year, which it looks like the Seattle Seahawks will do, just for a comparison, long-tenured coach, excellent quarterback. If they would have missed the playoffs, this year would have felt like a nightmare. Still on the table. I'm not saying they're in already. But to have the season they've had to be a 500 team, to be 9-6, or 9-8. Oof, I knew the math was different and I went the wrong direction. To be 9-8, or God forbid 8-9 this year would have felt like an apocalypse. If they play a genre of football that looks like tonight's, then you can say, you know what? They're playing what they've got. We'll see how it all plays out. And the chips will fall how they do. Because tonight didn't feel snake bit. Tonight didn't feel like you're always waiting for the other shoe to drop. and they were dominant. Pretty much everybody has a really bad loss on their resume, just like throughout the league right now. A top 5 or top 10 team has a loss to a bottom 5 or bottom 10 team. The Chiefs don't have a terrible loss by opponent. They just ended up losing to a lot of teams that I do think are good on varying levels to varying degrees. The Cowboys next week are going to be super interesting as another sort of signpost. But I'll tell you what, feel pretty good about it. Feel a whole lot better than I did at any point in these last few weeks. Back to the phone. Let's go to Dan. Dan, thank you for waiting on hold. What's on your mind?
Hey, Josh, how you doing? That was total domination by the Chiefs tonight. When it was 34-14, I said, good night, this game is over. How about Travis Kelce? He owns the Raiders. So, yeah, 119 yards, Jones, 101 yards. Yeah, he's got hands, all right. And Tyreek Hill with 2 touchdowns, and Noah Gray with a touchdown, and Dirty Dan making the interception. And how about Finn knocking that out of Deshaun Jackson? Rich Boldenger's head that Deshaun Jackson must be still in Philadelphia because he kept turning around. Let's take care of the Cowboys. Take care of yourself, Josh.
Appreciate it, Dan. Always good to hear from you. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, like, think about all the dudes that Dan just rattled off there. You can go Mahomes, Hill, Kelce. You can go Sorensen, Fenton, Pringle, Townsend. That's the good stuff. That's the thing that I could not tell you the last time I felt like the Chiefs played a very complete game, where you got good stuff from the guys that you need it from and the guys that you expect, and you got it from the guys that you don't necessarily need it from or you don't necessarily expect. It's good stuff. Last call for a second here. Let's go to DJ. DJ, welcome back. What's going on?
What's up, JB?
How you feeling?
I'm good, bro. What's the deal?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm in a pretty good mood. I feel like we saw a return to form tonight. What do you think? You waited on hold to tell me what you think.
Oh, yeah, so 2 points. Well, 3 points, but 2 on defense, 1 on offense. First, the 2 for defense. The first question, bro, do you think that Tyrann Mathieu deserves an extension? My personal opinion is yes. Second point on defense is Melvin Ingram. I think that he's made a huge impact. What do you think about Melvin? As far as a mid-season signing that could change our defense around. Offensive point. Well, it ain't really a question. It's more of a statement. Offense, do you think – I think more offense that all the people talking about run the ball. I think that whole theory is dead. Our offense starts to end with Patrick Mahomes, and people have to realize that. If he's on this A game, running the ball doesn't make a difference. I get it. You want to keep defenses honest. You want to play action off the run, but you're never going to have a 175, 150-yard runner in Kansas City. Yeah. Patrick Mahomes is our offense. I'm getting tired of people saying pound the run. It's not a running game. We don't do that. Andy Reid don't like to run the ball.
That's true.
But I just want to say what's up, and again, I'm glad you're back, JB.
Thank you.
Good to talk to you, bro.
Good to talk to you as well, man.
I didn't fall asleep this time, man. It was a late game. I didn't fall asleep, man. Here's some credit, guys.
That's right. It's 11:30. It's past your bedtime, man. Go get some rest.
Usually I'm done, man.
I'll answer your questions right away, and then you can go hit the pillow. Appreciate it, DJ.
All right, bro.
Thank you, man. That's good. I like that. I like hearing from DJ. Good calls so far today as well. Good work, everybody. A couple things there. So first thing on the running game, no one is ever going to have to force my hand to tell you that this offense begins, ends, and in the middle is filled with Patrick Mahomes. It is about him, and then secondarily, it is honestly I think it's Mahomes 1, Andy Reid 2, and then Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill 3. The offensive line's in there somewhere, I guess. Whatever. The running back and the running games are lower on the list. It is nice to be able to run the ball effectively whenever defenses are just daring you to do it. It doesn't have to be your strength by any means. The Chiefs should never run the ball just for the sake of doing it. But if you have defenses backpedaling at the snap, you want to be able to hand it off and just and get that. Also, on some level, it's just like, hey, you know when the Chiefs, the best running snap the Chiefs had today? Off the top of my head, it was a Blake Bell carry. It was a Belldozer sneak. That is technically a part of the running game. That's that sort of stuff, and the, hey, it's 1st and 10, and the defense is daring you to take this carry for like 8 yards straight up the gut if you want to because your offensive line is dominant. And again, this is more reflective of the offensive line than anybody. You want to be able to do that when defenses dare you to. The Chiefs are not going to be a ground and pound team. They should not be a ground and pound team. the only point that I kind of put a pin in it is just to say, hey, whenever you have an opportunity to use your, not even your second pitch, to use a baseball metaphor, but your like fourth pitch, whenever you have a chance to use your fourth pitch and you think you can use it as a knockout blow, now I'm mixing metaphors and sports, you want to be able to. I know we got to take a break, Beards. I know. I'm going to answer DJ's 2 questions, and then we can take our break. Beards is over there just giving me the break sign like a maniac.
Also, Matt Derrick texted me, and he wanted to know when he was coming on, so I said I'd talk to you during the break about that.
Next, why don't we do it?
Okay, that's fine.
I don't think we're ready on reading Mahomes yet, right? So we can talk to Matt and then follow up with reading Mahomes. We'll have Matt Derrick on next. Melvin Ingram, to DJ's question. I do think he's made a nice impact so far. I do think it's majority about Frank Clark and Chris Jones. And also, it seems like some of those blitzes have been dialed up at very opportune times. So I'm going to give a little bit of shine to Steve Spagnuolo. I think he's deserved it over these last few weeks especially. But really, tonight, most impressive effort of all. But yeah, I think Ingram has been helpful. Let me frame this in the way that I want to. I was not excited or very happy on the Chiefs' behalf whenever that trade got reported, because I thought they should have signed the dude in March. And I know that the money ended up changing and that by trading that draft pick, they basically ended up getting an extra $3 million that stayed with the Steelers, and the Chiefs get him for the last half of the year. It could very well end up that Ingram is easily worth that 6th-round pick in the second half of this season. Still remains to be seen for sure. We'll see. I just thought they should have made that happen at the beginning of the season or before the season, because I didn't think that, you wanted to go into this year with Alex Okafor versus Josh Kando as your 4th defensive end, right? And if you get Ingram in here, then he's stepping up over maybe even a guy like Mike Dana, and everyone kind of fits into a better role, and you add depth to your entire rotation there. But I do think that Ingram has been a nice piece. And then in terms of Tyrann Mathieu in the long haul, it's kind of a difficult question because I think that performance-wise, Tyrann Mathieu would show of current and past performance that he's worth a contract and that he's worth a bunch of money, but also that next year will be his age 30 season, and I can't think off the top of my head other than Travis Kelce if the Chiefs have really given a meaningful contract that goes into a guy's 30s, at least under Veach in particular. I really thought they were going to get that extension done before this season, which then would have given them some more cap flexibility. Maybe you can go get Juju Smith-Schuster. Maybe you can sign Melvin Ingram at the beginning of the season if you have that cap space. I will say this. I think they're going to prioritize Orlando Brown first and try to lock him down on that left side. And so if the Chiefs can get one of those deals done before free agency hits, then they can tag the other one and work on it then. I think it probably would make the most sense to try to extend Orlando Brown and maybe even see if Tyrann Mathieu would play under the tag for one more year. But if you're in Tyrann Mathieu's shoes, you don't want to play under the franchise tag in your 30th, your age 30 season. And clearly, like from a performance standpoint, he's earned another contract. The Chiefs are just in a little bit of a messy space cap-wise next year. You get a big cap hit from Tooney. You get your first really big cap hit from Patrick Mahomes. So there's a lot of needles to thread that'll be a little bit easier to figure out, I think, once the offseason comes around. But Mathieu will certainly be, for the second offseason in a row, his contract status will be a huge storyline. We will take a break here on the Sports Radio 810 WHB Postgame Show. It's presented by the Missouri Lottery, by the way. Remember to play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. More play and more power with Powerball with Double Play. For an extra $1, players have the chance to win up to $10 million in a separate drawing. Missouri Lottery, play responsibly. It's also brought to you by CBD American Shaman. We got a good deal for you this week because of these 41 points. When Kansas City scores, you score big at your local CBD American Shaman. Our team's score is your % off. They scored 41 points, so you get 41% off all day tomorrow. CBD American Shaman, life is better with the feather. I'm Joshua Brisco, Beers McFly, Rudy Salazar producing the effort. We'll come back with Matt Derrick of Chiefs Digest next on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
You're listening to exclusive post-game coverage on Kansas City's home for the NFL, Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Remember to play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. More play, more power Powerball. Now on Monday, Wednesday, and Saturdays.
Hey, Kansas City, do you have plans on the night before Thanksgiving? Well, now you do. Sports Radio 810 WHB presents Dolomite live at the Uptown Theater, featuring special guests, the Accidental Moguls, with my son, Richie St. John. It all happens the night before Thanksgiving at the Uptown Theater. Tickets are available now at Ticketmaster. $15 for GA, $25 for VIP. Be there.
Text us to receive up to 5 marketing texts sent via automated technology to your number. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply. Membership automatically renews. Cancel anytime.
Hi, you ever heard of Beachbody On Demand? Hold on a second. Here is your free membership. I'm Carl Deichler, the CEO of Beachbody, and I just sent a free membership to another customer. And I'm giving away 10,000 free memberships a week to anyone who texts me right now to try our new Beachbody On Demand fitness and nutrition app. Just text the word JOIN to 303030 to get instant access to all $8,000 of our best-selling fitness programs like 21 Day Fix, Insanity, P90X, T25, and PIO. These programs really work, and this is your one chance to try them for free. Just text the word JOIN to 303030. That's JOIN to 303030 right now, and I'll send you your own free membership.
Susan, I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic is terrible.
It sure is. But on top of that, gas prices have been skyrocketing. I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Get Upside Gas app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Get Upside app?
Yes, up to 25 cents a gallon cash back every time I buy gas.
And does that actually add up to anything?
Some months I make $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Get Upside app now.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play to save up to 25 cents a gallon when you buy gas. Use promo code BILL for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 50 cents a gallon on your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or any gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code BILL for up to 50 cents a gallon cash back on your first tank. That's code BILL.
Hey guys, it's Grunny here for my friends at CBD American Shaman. Man, I love football and I love big scores. When Kansas City scores, you score big at your local CBD American Shaman stores the day after the game. If Kansas City puts up 30, it's 30% off all the next day at your local CBD American Shaman store. If they put up 50, you got it, 50% off all the very next day. Now that's a big win. CBD American Shaman. Life is so much better with the feather.
The Whole Person connects people with disabilities to the resources they need to live independently and enjoy the many opportunities this great city provides. We're focused on creating a fully accessible community where opportunities and choices are not limited by disability. The Whole Person delivers programs and services that enhance the confidence of people with disabilities by providing the skills needed to live, learn, and work in the Kansas City Metro. The Whole Person serves both Missouri and Kansas. Learn more by visiting thewholeperson.org.
Everyone knows Family Leisure is having the world's biggest spa sale. Did you know it's also time to save hundreds, even thousands on patio furniture, pool tables, shuffleboard, and more? You can beef up your entertainment area with couches, sectionals, and theater seating now on sale at Family Leisure. Make it a September to remember with special 810 listener pricing at Family Leisure. Spas, basketball goals, play sets, trampolines, everything for family and fun together on sale at Family Leisure. K10 and Ridgeview in Olathe.
913-888-7727. Awesome.
Take your adventure to the next level with a new Kia from Robert Brogdon's Olathe Kia. Go off-roading in a rugged new 2022 Kia Sorento. Pack up for a road trip in a spacious new Sportage, or write your next chapter in a well-appointed new Kia Telluride. All new Kias are backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Your journey starts at Robert Brogdon's Olathe Kia, just a short drive from I-35. Check out OlatheKia.com for exclusive special offers. Warranty is limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Just like Kansas City, Audi Shawnee Mission knows how to win. Come in today to see why Audi Shawnee Mission is rated one of the top dealers in the Central region by Audi of America. Stop in at Audi of Shawnee Mission and experience their brand new state-of-the-art facility. It's easy to get to directly off I-35 and Merriam, at the corner of I-35 and 67th Street. Audi of Shawnee Mission is a proud supporter of our hometown team in red. Come see why they're champions too.
escapes. Goes to the end zone. It's Williams there, and he makes the grab. Oh, my goodness. Darrell Williams, deep downfield for 38 yards, beats Jonathan Abram.
With an obvious assist to Darrell Williams. That had to be our Mahomes magic moment of the game. The Mahomes magic moment is brought to you by BOK Financial. Whatever you want your company to be, there's BOK Financial. Be ready with BOK Financial. Member FDIC. Things will be okay here as we talk to our friend Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com. You can also follow him on Twitter at Matt Derrick. He's brought to you by Bob Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, Rooter, and Electrical. You better buzz Bob, now offering electrical services, panels, wiring, generators, updating fixtures. They do it all, offering a whole home electrical inspection for just $99. Call 888-4BOB. Remember the 913. Matt, the Chiefs seem to remember what they used to do offensively tonight. The defense was also pretty darn good. Special teams had the biggest error of the day, and then also maybe the most fun moment of the game, or at least one of them. 41-14. You take it from there.
Yeah, you know what? If you're gonna be, we've had nights where you've had to show air. I'm gonna start over.
Okay, yep. We'll just cut this. Beards, dump all this. Matt Derrick, brought to you by Bob Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, Rooter, and Electrical.
So this is pretty much how my day has been going so far. We've had nights after games that you've had to start playing other teams' highlights.
Yeah.
Now you're going to have enough highlights to go into the Border Patrol.
Yeah, it was that kind of night, which was a nice change of pace.
Yeah, this was about as perfect as I think the Chiefs can play. Not a whole lot of. There was one mistake on offense that killed them on the first drive. They had a penalty.
Mm-hmm.
Put them into a 3rd and 10, and that kept them from actually potentially scoring on that drive. Then, of course, the next 9 drives, they basically had a chance to score on every single one of them. Defense, I thought, had maybe 1 or 2 breakdowns. You're right. There was fumble that, honestly, fumbles are going to happen on special teams, and I'd rather be in a situation like that rather than just, the occasional bad fumble that we've seen the Chiefs have on special teams, on returns. But other than that, what are you going to nitpick about this one? This was just about as thorough as a butt-kicking on the road that you're going to get.
And I don't know, and I don't even want to focus on what comes next because I don't know how much of this will roll over and everything. But in the sort of grand, to use the word of the day, maybe the word of the season, in the grand battle of all of the narratives, what did you take away from this performance tonight as, clearly the Chiefs, again, putting together, like you said, just about as perfect a game as they're probably capable of?
I think you can put to bed some narratives. I'm just not sure that, we're ready to close the book on all of them. Okay, Mahomes is broken. Mm-hmm. That narrative can go in the trash.
Right.
That's dumpster fire. It's all over. But the narrative that the Chiefs are fixed, that I need some more evidence. And the Chiefs will get that test next week. I need to see this same type of effort next week, because if the Cowboys come in and put a 35-9 drubbing on the Chiefs, then doesn't matter what happened tonight. Need to see this again. But, here we are. We're in a situation where the Chiefs, let's just imagine for a moment. Let's imagine that they do beat the Cowboys next weekend, which they certainly are capable of doing, especially if they play after the game they play tonight. You go 3-0 in a series of games that, you were hoping that maybe this team could go 2-1. You're dreading the possibility they could go 1-2 or 0-3. Now there's a chance that they could go 3-0. They go into the bye week, first place, AFC West. It's going to be a tougher challenge to move up the AFC playoff seedings because they've buried themselves with tiebreaker problems. But this team desperately needs a bye week. They need to get healthy in a lot of places. The idea that you could be 3-0 in the last 3 games going into the bye week is just about at 7-4. Would be the absolute dream scenario for this team.
Yeah, and that's the other thing where, again, I think being in primetime tonight was going to exaggerate whatever the result was. And ultimately, to see this kind of drubbing I do wonder if it might push a little bit too far. But again, we're kind of floating ahead to next week. Is there something specific that you saw tonight that you think, all right, that's great, but that's really the thing that I want to see for another week or two in any sort of specific unit or specific player or anything like that?
I saw Patrick Mahomes outside of the throws themselves, outside of the actual plays, but just in everything else, just moving around in the pocket, taking the snap, making the reads on RPOs, the process of delivering throws, not the outcomes themselves, but just the way that he carried himself tonight. I saw more swagger dripping out of him than we have probably seen the last 9 games. He just looked more comfortable, more fluid. It just seemed like you could read his body language that it was just a completely different attitude tonight than we've seen in a while. And I don't know how much of that was just confidence coming off of last week. Maybe it's a good week of practice. I don't know what it is. But, I didn't see the same Patrick Mahomes that we've seen of late. The guy who has been, running away from some phantom pressure, who's been hurrying the football. He hurried a couple of throws tonight, but, they weren't deal breakers or anything. But I saw a guy that, was selling, play action like he used to play that he just hadn't been doing for a while. And he just looks so much more poised and comfortable. And that's not saying that he hasn't been. I mean, it's not like he's been, looking like Sam Darnold or something out there.
Right.
I mean, he's still been Mahomes, but this was, tonight I saw a guy that was like, okay, wait a minute. You know what? This is the guy that I saw playing for 3 years that dominated the entire league.
This is one of the rare questions that I am going to ask while having absolutely no idea about the answer and maybe even the context, but I'm genuinely confused by this. I've seen in a couple of places, this might just be a thing that fans do whenever they start theorizing about stuff to try to put logic into something. Has there been anything different at any point on any level about the play calling this year in terms of, the story typically is that Andy Reid goes to Eric Bieniemy with the play, and then Bieniemy calls it into the quarterback. Like they've been doing that for a long time here, right? I've seen people asking about who's calling the plays or who was calling the plays since things got bad offensively, and who was calling the plays tonight. Have I missed something there?
No, because the Chiefs and Andy Reid have been. What's the opposite of transparent?
Yes. I don't know. Opaque. They've been quite opaque about it for a while.
Well, I wanted to say opaque, but opaque is much more transparent than the Chiefs are. So I was looking for something much worse than opaque.
Yeah.
Because they're not real clear. But my understanding for the most part about how the Chiefs have been doing play calling, at least this season, has been that it's been Eric Bieniemy that's been calling the play.
Okay.
But Andy Reid, as always, will tell you that he's got 51% ownership, so he's got veto at any time.
Right.
Now, is that still true? Was Eric Bieniemy still calling plays tonight exclusively? I don't know. Did the play calling feel different tonight? Yeah, it did. But then again, I felt like that there were also some plays in the rotation tonight that we just haven't seen for a while. I thought there was a lot more of the RPOs. There was a little bit more of the misdirect. Those, especially those multiple fakes that Mahomes loves to pull out and everything. We hadn't been seeing a lot of those, so it felt like that there were some plays on the call sheet tonight that we just haven't been seeing in a while. So was there something different about the play calling? I don't know, but it certainly felt like. After the script opening 15, which the first 15 is always scripted, which once again, they were pretty solid tonight on the opening script. But after that, I'm not going to lie. I felt like there was something different about the play calling tonight.
I guess, part of it is the fact that it is always shrouded in mystery.
Yeah.
Because I think it's got to be very hard to be forthcoming about that and not sound like you're either trying to take credit or shed blame, because that's the times in a season whenever those questions get asked, I guess. But that's kind of strange. And it's just also not strange at all because that's just sort of how the Chiefs have handled it. I know that this is a very difficult question to answer entirely with the broadcast view in real time, and so it's part of the reason I'm asking you about it. Just of like, hey, maybe you saw something that I didn't, having to not being able to see the safeties, you know? But do you feel like there was anything the Raiders were doing there that made things more conducive for the Chiefs' offense? And then I think the kind of pivot off that is if they were doing things differently than just having two safeties 25 yards downfield, are teams going to just see this tonight as some sort of failed experiment? What do you think the ramifications of that will be?
Well, you're right. I mean, it's difficult not seeing the all 22 in a game like this and kind of knowing what for sure they were doing. But even Andy Reid, mentioned during his post-game press conferences that the Raiders kind of blended their defenses a little bit. They didn't just go straight into that cover 2 shell that most teams have been playing. They tried to do things a little bit differently. They tried to blitz Patrick Mahomes a couple of times tonight too. They tried to play the Chiefs a little bit more straight up than teams have been playing. And clearly that was not smart. So that's why I say, I'm going to tap the brakes a little bit on the fact that, this offense is completely back and everything's fixed and A-OK, because they need to replicate this. But, if this was a case that the Raiders were coming out and just not playing as much of that, too deep shell that most teams are playing against the Chiefs and just saying, hey, we're just not going to give you anything deep and you're going to have to throw the 5 yards downfield and that's it, then tonight will be even more reason for teams to just bury themselves into that too deep shell even further. Because, clearly blending with some other defenses and doing things a little bit differently, not a smart move for the Raiders tonight.
Yeah, I'm super curious to see what that ends up being, because I don't know. I'm gonna. Here's a little pop psychology that is usually not a good idea, but I think that if you're Patrick Mahomes, like seeing some variance amongst your defense, it probably is more fun, right? You get a little bit of the puzzle back, and you get to try some different things, and maybe your processes have different results than just banging your head into the same general defensive scheme that you've been seeing for the last at least 5 or 6 weeks. And I certainly enjoy it more watching it because it seems a little more varied. You do see some different things, and I don't know, I'm a little bit concerned, I guess, that the boring defense that works might end up being where teams go back to if they do learn from the Raiders tonight.
Well, but at the same time, the Chiefs have been continuing to try and experiment with trying to find out some ways to beat these defenses that they're seeing.
Yeah.
And even on a handful of occasions where I know that the Raiders were in kind of some of this cover 2 shell that we've been seeing, the Chiefs were still successful against it at times. I think that the Chiefs are definitely finding some answers. Now, is this just a case of the Chiefs ran into a team that is a mess right now? They've got some personnel problems. They've got some locker room problems. They've got just general atmosphere problems. And it was a good night to run into them? Maybe so. But at the same time, I think that we're seeing that the Chiefs, maybe this tonight at the very least is, maybe the kind of turning of the corner as far as, figuring out how to beat some of these defenses that they're seeing. Now, all that said, and we talked about this defensively, about, what were the biggest things that the Chiefs could get defensively to fix them earlier in the season. And we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, and I said, get Chris Jones and Frank Clark relatively healthy.
Yep.
Are the 2 biggest things you can do to improve this defense. What are the 2 things that you can probably do to improve this offense? It's probably just get to the bye week and try and get Kelsey, Hill, and Mahomes as healthy as you possibly can.
Yes.
Because I don't think there's any doubt that Kelsey and Hill have been banged up. And I think you saw it tonight. Kelsey came out blazing, but I think eventually, the toll kind of caught up with a little bit, and you saw him disappear a little bit in the second half. And Hill has certainly been battling injuries, and I got to think that's affecting a little bit of the timing that he's had with Mahomes. Hey, let's see what happens. Get these guys healthy in a couple of weeks. Maybe the 1 week of rest will be a big part of, getting them healthier and fresher. Let's see what happens after the bye week.
Really quick final thing before Beards comes in and unplugs my microphone so we can go to break. Who wins the AFC West?
The Chiefs. I think they do. 5-1 against the West So I think they're going to go obviously 4-0 over the closing last 4 games of the division in the season. We'll see what happens with the other contests. After the Cowboys, I mean, all they have left that are outside the division are the Bengals and the Steelers.
Yeah.
And I think those are a couple of favorable matchups for the Chiefs there, too. So would I be surprised if the Chiefs ran the table? No, I wouldn't. Because I think they certainly are capable of running the table in the West and putting that thing away.
Like you said, after the Cowboys game, 3 AFC West matchups in a row, then the Steelers and Bengals, and then you finish with the Broncos there. So that is 3 in a row and 4 out of 6 to end the season in the division. With how things have gone, it seems like it could not have been scheduled a better way, at least in terms of the AFC West. Matt, thank you as always. We're going to get you out of here before midnight. That's a good change of pace for us in the primetime format. And we'll hear you over the week on these very airwaves, and check out ChiefsDigest.com. Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, Josh. Take care, my friend.
We'll get out of here. So, I'm sorry, Beards. I told you I'd try to break like 5 minutes ago, and I like talking to Matt Derrick. Sue me. I like talking to Matt. It's a Sports Radio 810 WHB Postgame Show. It's brought to you by Missouri Lottery. Remember to play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. More play, more power. Powerball now on Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. And brought to you by CBD American Shaman. Free CBD samples every day. Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes next.
You're listening to exclusive post-game coverage on Kansas City's home for the NFL. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Brought to you by Casey's own CBD American Shaman. Come on into your local shaman store for a free sample of stress-sacking CBD. Everything is better with the feather.
Tired of searching for sports updates in different places? The Xfinity Sports Zone gives you the ultimate sports hub experience. Find games, commentary, news, and highlights all in one place. Use the voice remote to get instant access to stats and scores. Just say, "Show me NASCAR" or "soccer scores." Plus, get notifications with breaking news alerts and more when the game's about to start. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit an Xfinity store for details. Restrictions apply. Requires Xfinity TV service with X1.
Diamonds Direct is breaking all the rules this weekend with the biggest and final store-wide sale of the year. 3 days of extra savings. Your final chance before the holidays to save an extra 20% on virtually everything. Rings, earrings, pendants, bands, colored gemstones. Huge savings across the board. And the selection is like double with entire designer lines flown in for this event. This is the best pre-holiday buying opportunity ever. Special financing, too. Details at DiamondsDirect.com. This Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Diamonds Direct at 119th and Row.
At BOK Financial, we believe that no financial challenge is too big and no opportunity too small. We're guided by our commitment to make a difference in the communities we serve. BOK Financial, we are community focused.
The Kansas City Comets are back for another exciting season of professional indoor soccer at Cable Dahmer Arena. Comets season tickets and single game tickets are on sale now. Kansas City Comets soccer is fast, furious, high-scoring action for the entire family, and parking is always free at Cable Dahmer Arena. The Comets season kicks off on Friday, November 12th at 7 p.m. against the Wichita Wings. Get your Comets season tickets or single game tickets today by calling 888-9-COMETS or online at Ticketmaster.com.
From the 43. Carr stepping up, keeps his eyes downfield, throws, caught, 20-yard line. Deshaun Jackson, then he loses the ball at the 14-yard line. So he makes his first catch as a Raider, coughs it up. And that was Rashard Fenton who dislodged it. So a big gain for Jackson on his first catch as a Raider, and then he turns it over.
That play was wild, and for the Chiefs, pretty sweet. It is our sweet play of the game, brought to you by Andy's Frozen Custard. It's pie season at Andy's. Be sure to try their famous pumpkin pie concrete or apple pie sundae this fall. A perfect post-game stop or anytime stop, Andy's Frozen Custard. On the pumpkin concrete front, I may have checked the freezer here at the station a few days ago to see if there were any left from when we had them a couple days before that. We had them last week. May have taken one of those home. May have enjoyed some pumpkin pie concrete last night. May have enjoyed every bite of it. I'll never tell for sure because I'm Only pretty sure that those were fair game. But for Andy's frozen custard, I'm willing to potentially rob a coworker. They were fair game. I think. Let's get to there's your sweet play of the game from Andy's frozen custard. What if we get to the sweet press conference of the day from Andy Reid?
Andy Reid is presented by Robert Brogdon Buick GMC and Robert Brogdon Olathe Kia. Visit BrogdonAutomotive.com. And by Andy's Frozen Custard. Let me tell you about my other favorite Andy. Andy from Andy's Frozen Custard. He's from KC, never misses a game, and serves the world's finest frozen custard. Grab a Pick 6 from one of 9 area locations and tailgate at Andy's. Grab one today.
Let's get to Andy Reid here. We'll start with his opening statement as he also talks about Tyrann Mathieu a little bit. Beards, a quick question for you. Whenever I know the commercials were a little bit shaky right now, we're figuring that out. Do I need to tell people that they're listening to Sports Radio 810 WHB Kansas City? Because I think that I don't know that I heard that before.
Probably
the system freaked out a little bit. So I just wanted to check real quick and make sure that people do know that just under the wire here, to Sports Radio 810 WHB Kansas City, it's the legal ID. Whenever you hear that. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. That whole thing, station ID, legal ID right there. Sometimes the host can just do it. Or the producer can do it. Beards, do one.
WHB Kansas City.
Is that all you have to do? Is it just call letters location?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. You don't even need the Sports Radio 810 part.
I really like to
That's just for fun. That's for stylishness.
I really like to do the thing that I remember my dad yelling in the car when I was much younger. Whenever we were listening to this very radio station. And maybe you can add one of these into the mix some point during the show, because he would just yell as the ID or the line or whatever would play, the power of sports. Power. Like a powerful legal ID. Anyway. Let's actually hear from Andy Reid now. Here's his opening statement. We know that no serious injuries, but a stomach bug for Charvarius Ward and Willie Gay Jr. Hopefully that doesn't end up being a long-lasting issue for either of them. Here is Andy Reid's opening statements and a little follow-up question there from Tyrann Mathieu.
Years ago, Charvarius Ward had a bit of a stomach illness. Willie Gay likewise had a little bit of illness before the game. And really everybody else finished, they played. Hats off to the fans. What a great job they did. I'm saying the Chief fans, and they were here in numbers. A lot of red. We felt that and appreciated it. Listen, defensively, I thought we really came out with a great game plan, and the guys executed very well. Legarius, his tackling was all part of that. John Reed was around the quarterback all night. Everybody had a piece of this. So I thought the defense really played well. And offensively, we likewise were able to do some good things, and a lot of numbers. A lot of numbers for Pat. A lot of numbers. For Tyreek and Kels and then Darrell Williams. Had over 100 yards receiving, which I thought was great. Third downs were great, both sides of the ball, but third downs on the offensive side were good too. And then special teams. Special teams I thought did a solid job the whole night, and then you add in the fake punt, which was great. That helps keep people off balance just a bit. Dave had a nice plan for him. EB had a nice plan offensively, and then Spags defensively. It was a solid performance all the way around.
Tyrann didn't finish the game either. Was that not an injury?
I took everybody out. Tyrann, I don't know, he might have an ankle or a little something, but I took them all out at that time, so I don't think it's anything serious.
There were a lot of guys still out there because you only have so many active players. I think Chris Jones was still out there for at least a snap or two that Mathieu wasn't. But I figured as much that Matthew's been banged up a few times this year. At that point, it's crazy to be able to say this about a Chiefs game this year, but they were up by so much it didn't matter. Kind of a nice change of pace there. You heard Reid mention just all of the guys you could name. I don't know that I've mentioned L'Jarius Sneed today. Tyrann Mathieu mentioned him. He was asked about him earlier. But I'm not sure that I've said L'Jarius Sneed's name, and he's just been excellent. He's been excellent in coverage. He's been excellent as a tackler, which I think in our past in this region has perhaps been overstated as a weakness. A corner who doesn't like to tackle or isn't a great tackler but is great at everything else is still a corner worth having. But if you have a corner who's great at everything, including tackling, that's just good on top of good. And Sneed has been fabulous in that regard. You also heard Andy Reid mention the fake punt there. Here's a little more on that fake punt from Andy Reid.
Yeah, well, we saw that it was available, and so they were cheating back a bit, and you got a punter that can throw the ball, and he does it every day in practice, and you've got Kemp out there who's a good receiver, so yeah, there's a risk involved, but we thought the benefit was even greater. So.
It was. Also, the Chiefs were pretty aggressive on 4th down tonight. I don't even have to be mad about that. That's how easy going we are right now, because they've been aggressive, or at least were set up to be aggressive. I think one time a penalty moved them back. It's just like it's basically straight A's on the report card. Again, I think the worst moment was Hughes' fumble, which at least was after a good return instead of at the point of receiving the ball or whatever. And then you get that fake punt that gives the special teams something to write home about from this game. I've done so much nitpicking on this football team this year that I just think I'm not gonna tonight. I think I'm just gonna kind of enjoy that they put up 40 points and hope that they are able to continue that against the Cowboys. Andy Reid talked about that offense, seeing that breakthrough tonight, and how reassuring it is to have a game like this where it seemed like they kind of found their identity again.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's such a rivalry between the Raiders and the Chiefs, so it's obviously a good one to get for the guys. Rich on the other side of it is battling his tail off, and so are his players. So. Working through all of this, and but listen, it's a good one to get against a talented football team, and we've got so much room to improve still, and but we have a little bit of season left to do that. So we're going to keep chopping away at this thing and making ourselves the best we can be as it goes on.
Andy, I hope I ask this in a way that makes sense, but people are talking like the Chiefs back, that kind of thing. I'm just wondering, from your point of view, is it more about sort of not 19, not 20, but sort of chasing the identity of this particular team?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. That you have to develop your own personality. Every team's different every year. And so, yeah, you can't worry about the expectations and all that stuff. You got to get down to the nitty gritty and build it. And so our guys have kind of done that, and they're getting to know each other better. And we've got to keep plugging away. So it's a good one to get, though. But I think you're probably spot on that. Yeah.
That's interesting. That's good stuff there. Also, kind of in a similar vein, and certainly also good stuff, if I may say so. The Chiefs are in sole possession of the AFC West right now. They're the only AFC West team with 6 wins, which is crazy because it feels like the Chiefs haven't won a meaningful football game in 15 years. And like the Broncos and the Raiders and the Chargers have all had better wins more recently than the Chiefs have. Well, all of that is felt that way, but none of it's particularly true. The Chiefs are the top of the AFC West. Andy Reid was asked about that rise back to the top after battling back from a slow start.
Yeah, so that's good for today, and then you got to get back on it and get going. I mean, I appreciate you saying it, but you're just as good in this league. You're just as good as your next game, and we're seeing this every Sunday and Thursdays and Monday nights. The parity in this league is ridiculous, and so you have to stay on your game, and you have to continue to work to get better and eliminate some of the mistakes that we had tonight. I mean, you got to keep that going and enjoy it because they're hard to get, but just know where you're at and what this league's all about right now.
Well, I'm going to keep it moving because I want to hear this next one as well. Andy, you're in pretty good mood tonight, rightfully so. It's kind of nice to hear because there's been a lot of either bad games followed by grumpy kind of pressers or okay games, maybe with a victory, but not all that fun. Feels kind of fun tonight. Here's Andy Reid about the rhythm that Patrick Mahomes was in tonight and his confidence that he would ultimately get out of the slump that he was in.
Well, Gus Bradley does a heck of a job defensively, and they've got talent on that side of the ball. And they've gotten Pat a couple different times, and so I thought he just was so disciplined and how he handled everything with the football, and then in the run game making that work too. And the offensive line, that's a good defensive front. They did a nice job of protecting them.
Andy, Pat was in the first sort of prolonged slump or whatever you want to call it, his career. What did you see from him that told you he was going to sooner or later come out on the other side?
Yeah, so listen, Adam, I mean, Frazier does a million different studies for us, right? And Pat's lasted longer than any quarterback in the history of the game without a slump, right? And so it's going to happen. There's going to be a little something that it doesn't go your way. And it's important that you power through it, stay confident, and keep firing. And so that's how he's wired. And you knew he was going to get through the ups and downs just by the way he handles himself. And that's what we're all watching it, right? So
just backtracking for a second, when you think about kind of how the game flowed, the ebb and flow, the rhythm, how important was it for him, even from a confidence standpoint, for all that he's accomplished, to get off to a quick start?
Yeah, no, that helps. I mean, he did last week too. So he came out and we moved it right along, and then he had another one of those series just before half, and then he had it at the end of the game, where he made a couple of nice plays. So, but I think for any quarterback, I think it's important that you can kind of start and develop some rhythm in the game, and I think he did that today. It's important, yes.
You heard Andy Reid mention there that what I thought was the neat little part of that answer. He mentioned, I think he said Frage, which I believe would be Mike Frazier, the statistical analysis coordinator for the Chiefs, doing all sorts of different research and everything. And he's right to say that Patrick Mahomes went longer into his NFL career than any quarterback ever without having a meaningful slump. He didn't even have a sub-average game by a lot of metrics until the Titans game, probably. And even then, if you look at stuff like his rolling average, he has still never been off of if you go with his last 300 passes or something. He's never dipped below that, and certainly now is trending back in the right direction again, which is fun. But that's a nice little tidbit there, something kind of fun to hear from Reid and the rest of the staff there. The biggest concern that I had from a personnel standpoint today was on the offensive line. 4/5 of it you felt great about. But Andrew Wiley got the start at right tackle with Mike Rimmers on IR and Lucas Niang inactive with his rib injury today. And Andy Reid was asked about Andrew Wiley, how he thought he played tonight, handling Max Crosby, and Patrick Mahomes also being kind of more confident behind that offensive line in general.
They got after each other. I mean, that was kind of fun to watch that. So, and the effort was intense there on both guys. Crosby, he's a good football player. But yeah, it was good to see. I mean, to have that, to have him here means a lot, especially when you've been a starter. To stay strong mentally, to be able to step in and do that, my hat's off to him on that.
Coach, I'd love to talk a little bit more about the offensive line, especially with Orlando Brown. 2 weeks ago against, I believe, the Titans, a couple weeks ago, they gave him 4 sacks. Last couple of weeks, they've only given up, 1 sack and kept Patrick clean. How comfortable are you seeing Patrick behind his offensive line?
Well, you guys asked us during training camp. I mean, it takes a little bit of time for those guys to gel. It's 5 guys all kind of dancing the same dance, and they've got it takes time. It takes snaps, and so they're working through everything that they need to. They've got a great attitude about them. Heck is a is a heck of a football coach, no pun intended. So we just keep pounding through this.
Heck there, who's the heck of the coach, Andy Heck, offensive line coach. And I think these last two games have been the Chiefs' offensive line's best two games. It's tough with Wiley there instead of one of the other two guys, but performs admirably over the time he's been asked to be out there, I think. So happy to see it. Also happy to see something we talked about a little bit with Matt Derrick earlier. It looks like the Chiefs might have seen some more single safety looks tonight. Andy Reid talked exactly about that, how much they're still working on all the double safety covers they've seen and kind of what all plays together there.
Yeah, he blended it a little bit. So between cover 4 and single safety middle zone. And listen, that's kind of where the whole thing started. So they've done a good job against us the last few years. And so just playing zone. But he mixed it in. He mixed a little bit of quarters. He mixed some heavy 3 and then man to man with different doubles taking place. So he had a nice game plan on that.
It's nice to say it a nice game plan, but it didn't work very well, which again, hopefully, I hope the Chiefs see some varied defenses just because I think it's a little more fun that way. All three phases of the game, though, did perform very well tonight for the Chiefs. Highs from every element, not that many lows. Andy Reid talked about the importance of seeing all three units really gel together that way.
Yeah, listen, this probably goes for any team in this league, but if all three phases are clicking, then you're going to be tough to stop. So, but we're coming out of this, and we've got room to improve. And these guys they believe in that. They think that's how they come out to practice. They've got a confidence about them, but they understand that if we put it all together, then good things can happen. So.
Last thing here from Andy Reid. He was asked if there's anything specific that he can point to right now that shows that this team has been moving in the right direction and will continue to trend in the right direction over the remainder of the season.
Yeah, I think they're playing well together, communicating well, which is so important on defense. There's always adjustments taking place. I mean, these offensive guys in this league are they're smart guys, and they try to get you out of position with their calls, motion shifts, and so to make those adjustments, the back end and front end, to make everything happen the right way, to still cover all the gaps and all the zones in the back end. You got to be sharp, and it's endless hours with that. They do a million walkthroughs going through this, and you got to do it like that. So, and they're getting better at that.
There's Andy Reid in a pretty good mood after a pretty good win, 41-14 tonight for the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll take a quick break. Whenever we come back, we'll bring you Patrick Mahomes' press conference here on the Sports Radio 810 WHB Postgame Show. It's presented by the Missouri Lottery. Remember to play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. More play, more power. Powerball now on Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. And brought to you by CBD American Shaman. When Kansas City scores, you score big at your local CBD American Shaman. Our team's score is your percent off. They scored 41 points tonight. Getting a good deal at CBD American Shaman because you get 41% off all day tomorrow. CBD American Shaman, because life is better with the feather. Patrick Mahomes whenever we come back.
You're listening to exclusive post-game coverage on Kansas City's home for the NFL. Sports Radio 810 WHB, presented by the Missouri Lottery and CBD American Shaman.
Hey guys, it's Grunny here for my friends at CBD American Shaman. Man, I love football and I love big scores. When Kansas City scores, you score big at your local CBD American Shaman stores the day after the game. If Kansas City puts up 30, it's 30% off all the next day at your local CBD American Shaman store. If they put up 50, you got it, 50% off all the very next day. Now that's a big win. CBD American Shaman. Life is so much better with the feather.
The Whole Person connects people with disabilities to the resources they need to live independently and enjoy the many opportunities this great city provides. We're focused on creating a fully accessible community where opportunities and choices are not limited by disability. The Whole Person delivers programs and services that enhance the confidence of people with disabilities by providing the skills needed to live, learn, and work in the Kansas City Metro. The Whole Person serves both Missouri and Kansas. Learn more by visiting thewholeperson.org.
Everyone knows Family Leisure is having the world's biggest spa sale. Did you know it's also time to save hundreds, even thousands on patio furniture, pool tables, shuffleboard, and more? You can beef up your entertainment area with couches, sectionals, and theater seating now on sale at Family Leisure. Make it a September to remember with special 810 listener pricing at Family Leisure. Spas, basketball goals, play sets, trampolines, everything for family and fun together on sale at Family Leisure. K10 in Ridgeview in Olathe.
913-888-7727. Awesome.
Tired of searching for sports updates in different places? The Xfinity Sports Zone gives you the ultimate sports hub experience. Find games, commentary, news, and highlights all in one place. Use the voice remote to get instant access to stats and scores. Just say, "Show me NASCAR" or "soccer scores." Plus, get notifications with breaking news alerts and more when the game's about to start. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit an Xfinity store for details. Restrictions apply. Requires Xfinity TV service with X1.
Take your adventure to the next level with a new Kia from Robert Brogdon's Olathe Kia. Go off-roading in a rugged new 2022 Kia Sorento. Pack up for a road trip in a spacious new Sportage, or write your next chapter in a well-appointed new Kia Telluride. All new Kias are backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Your journey starts at Robert Brogdon's Olathe Kia, just a short drive from I-35. Check out OlatheKia.com for exclusive special offers. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Just like Kansas City, Audi Shawnee Mission knows how to win. Come in today to see why Audi Shawnee Mission is rated one of the top dealers in the Central region by Audi of America. Stop in at Audi of Shawnee Mission and experience their brand new state-of-the-art facility. It's easy to get to directly off I-35 in Merriam, at the corner of I-35 and 67th Street. Audi of Shawnee Mission is a proud supporter of our hometown team in red. Come see why they are champions too. At BOK Financial, we believe that no financial challenge is too big and no opportunity too small. We're guided by our commitment to make a difference in the communities we serve. BOK Financial, we are community focused. The Kansas City Comets are coming to T-Mobile Center. The Comets are heading downtown for a very special match against the Tacoma Stars at T-Mobile Center on January 22nd at 7 p.m. All lower bowl tickets except for front row seats are just $24. Comets soccer is fast, furious, high-scoring action for the entire family. Get your tickets today to the Kansas City Comets' very special match at T-Mobile Center on January 22nd against the Tacoma Stars by calling 888-9-COMETS or by visiting tmobilecenter.com.
Kevin Harlan here from Monday Night Football on Westwood One with a preview of the San Francisco 49ers hosting the Los Angeles Rams. Matthew Stafford and the Rams, now 7-2, have one of the top offenses in the NFL. Can the 49ers' marquee defense deal the Rams a second consecutive loss? Join me and Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner to find out on Monday Night Football.
Kansas City's home for the National Football League. Sports Radio 810, WHB.
Let me tell you about my other favorite Andy from Andy's Frozen Custard. He's from KC, never misses a game, and serves the world's finest frozen custard. Grab a Pick 6 from one of 9 area locations and tailgate at Andy's. Grab one today. More play and more power with Powerball with Double Play. For an extra $1, players have the chance to win up to $10 million in a separate drawing. Plus, players have 3 nights a week to play Powerball. Now Monday nights. Every ticket you play creates opportunities for Missouri students. So play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. Play responsibly.
Fake toss, Mahomes, and there is a touchdown to Byron Pringle. 5 touchdown passes for Mahomes, 406 yards for Mahomes, and it's a rout.
And it's a rout, Al Michaels said. A rout! That's the sort of effort the Chiefs gave you tonight, 41-14. And that is our play of the game because the rout was on. It's brought to you by the Central Bank of the Midwest. You guys want to hear from Patrick Mahomes? That seems reasonable. We probably do, right? Let's do it. Let's hear from the Chiefs quarterback in an excellent effort this evening. Ends up being just over 400 yards, 5 passing touchdowns, 1 to Darrell Williams, 1 that you just heard to Byron Pringle, 2 to Tyreek Hill, 1 to Noah Gray. Just a good effort from this Chiefs offense. Mahomes was asked here about the emotion from the... Oh, no, not yet. Sorry. Good. Thank you, Beards, for waving me over. We're going to get to Patrick Mahomes. And I would say, what, Beards? 25 to 30 seconds from now, approximately. Don't go anywhere. Patrick Mahomes in 30 seconds.
Patrick Mahomes' press conference is brought to you by your Kansas City Acura dealers. They are partnering with Patrick Mahomes in support of his 15 in the Mahomes Foundation. Test drive to make a difference and enter to win a Mahomes jersey. By Xfinity Internet. Stay connected with Wi-Fi coverage that delivers the speed, reliability, and coverage you need. Can your internet do that? And by Westlake Ace Hardware, your home convenience store. Ready with the best brands and the right advice you need to get your quick fixes done even quicker. Stop into your nearest neighborhood Westlake Ace Hardware today.
Let's start with Mahomes on the touchdown pass on 4th down, no less, to Noah Gray. What he had to say about all the emotion he showed, skipping all the way back to midfield, I believe, after that play.
Yeah, I think obviously a huge moment in the game, and then a guy stepping up and making a big play. I mean, Noah, he's battled every single week to continue to get better and better, and for him to make a big catch like that, because that was a tough catch in traffic with the ball kind of shooting right through the line of scrimmage. It was kind of just letting it out to know that, I mean, that was a big touchdown and got the momentum back in our favor.
It was huge, and it kept everything moving. If they wouldn't have converted there, I think the defense would have been able to hold that down, but it was nice they didn't have to. Also, got a little bit of Noah Gray action in the Chiefs' offense, especially while Kelsey was kind of just being generally pretty well banged up. Mahomes also, as we mentioned earlier, looked pretty good behind the Chiefs' offensive line, even down to their 3rd right tackle with a pretty solid performance from Andrew Wiley. Mahomes was asked about how comfortable he felt tonight behind that offensive line as a whole.
Yeah, no, it was, I mean, they've been doing a good job these last few weeks. They've been doing a great job. And this is a great defensive line with the great pass rushers that have had a great season, and they stepped up to the challenge. I mean, Wiley came in and battled the entire game against Crosby. I thought Orlando did a great job against Yannick. I mean, the 2 great players. And then the interior guys just did a great job in the run game, screen game, everything. And so I think as the season's gone on, you've seen how you kind of come together as a unit offensively, and then they get an understanding of how I do my drops, because I'm obviously different than a lot of guys in this league.
And that's a perfectly honest answer from Mahomes. That last part, something that occasionally gets talked about, occasionally kind of gets maybe whispered about a little bit. But it's true. Mahomes plays that position a little bit differently. He moves in the pocket a little differently. There's got to be a happy medium. You don't want him to have his feet cemented into the middle of the pocket. You want to have him working with his offensive lineman, but you also don't want to necessarily see him scrambling around when he doesn't necessarily need to. Or perhaps not having to always do it himself. He was asked about not attempting any rushes tonight and how close he was to passing the line of scrimmage on that touchdown pass to Darrell Williams.
Yeah, I think there was nothing. I didn't know that, so I wasn't necessarily trying to not run or anything like that. I was going to run the one through to Darrell, but I think it was just the guys were getting open. I mean, guys were beating double teams, guys were getting open in their zone coverages, and I was getting the ball to them. And then you saw Darrell and these backs were making plays happen out in space. And so whenever they're catching the ball like that out of the backfield and adding another option, it's definitely another kind of utility thing that I can use in this offense.
Patrick, on the play you were just talking about, how close did you feel like you were to the line of scrimmage? It looked pretty close.
Oh, I knew I was close. That's the first thing I said when I got to the sideline. I said, was I behind the line of scrimmage? Because I hit through the middle, and like I was pretty committed on it. I was about to try to run, and then what took my eyes there is I can't remember if it was Trav or one of the receivers, Pringle maybe. I think it was Trav that was running across the field, and I was going to shoot it to him, and then out of my peripheral I saw Darrell, and I actually underthrew it a little bit. I mean, he tells me he can catch. Darrell does, but I guess I see that he can. So he made a big time play over a good player.
All of the maneuvering stuff there, he knew he was close. He was very close, but he made it happen. And again, you also hear him mention like, hey, I don't have to run it whenever guys are winning. Beating double teams, beating one-on-one matchups, getting better matchups, whatever it is. Just all of that stuff was working better tonight. Tyreek Hill had that one touchdown where he was completely open. I'm just picking out another play. Just saw the highlight pop up on SportsCenter. It's just good to see everything, all the wheels turning the way that we're used to seeing them here. And it felt like they had their rhythm back. Patrick Mahomes talked about that after the game as well.
I think it was in pregame. I mean, you could just feel the energy from the guys. I mean, everybody was ready to go this game. We obviously haven't offensively played the way we wanted to, but we've been finding ways to get wins. And so I think guys have been just steady with the process of getting better and better. I thought pregame you could feel that energy, and I think guys wanted to be on Sunday Night Football playing in a stadium like this against a team like that.
This next question plays right into it. We're going to just go right into it here. Patrick Mahomes was asked if he got his groove back tonight.
Yeah, for sure. Shane Buechele came up to me and showed me this video with this kid, and he was saying, I got my swagger back. And so that was something that was kind of my motto this week. And I think the whole team kind of got that swag back, and we're going to try to keep that thing rolling.
A couple ones, but one real quick. When did Shane show you that video, and where did he show it?
He showed it to me in the QB room. We were watching film Monday or Tuesday. So he was saying, because I was saying I need to get my swag back, and he showed me that video, and that was like the mojo, the video of the week.
Okay, why do you think that got you going?
Because it was kind of the thing where I think the question was they were trying to say what was wrong with the team, and they had a big win, and he said that I think I got my swagger back, and I was like, man, that's what we're going to do on Sunday. So we got the win. Now how can we keep that swag going?
Does Shane Buechele get credit for the Chiefs' win tonight? I think maybe he should. That's magical. What a twist. Shane Buechele, game ball. Patrick Mahomes got a swagger back. That's awesome. Patrick Mahomes also... I think I got my swagger back. What is that from?
It looks like it's a post game.
Did you know that was coming?
Yes, I'd seen that.
Okay.
I saw somebody else post it on Twitter. It's basically just like a football post game. Looks like high school almost. And it's just this one kid that... there's like 12 other players around him from his team, and he just goes, I think I got my swagger back. And he's kind of like dancing away from the microphone in the camera as he does that at the end.
Can we do something unprecedented here and weave in Travis Kelce really quick? I don't know if Rudy even told you where that clip is.
Yeah, let me open it.
I think that Travis Kelce's clip here is going to make more sense now. Travis Kelce, this is an interview with ESPN after the game. We'll get back to Patrick Mahomes in 1 second, but here's Travis Kelce.
Lastly, I saw you exchange jerseys with Darren Waller. What did that mean?
Wall Street, man. Got so much respect for that guy, both from on and off the field. Just really just admire how he plays the game. And from there, there's a lot of respect. He's doing a lot for the position, and we just try and keep taking it to that next level. Baby! Something tells me I got my swagger back. Oh, baby.
That makes more sense now. I'm guessing that was not just in the quarterback room after that. I'm guessing that permeated throughout the Chiefs' offense. That's very funny. All right, back to Patrick Mahomes here. Here's Mahomes asked if he knew they would eventually rebound after some poorer offensive performances.
Yeah, I think it just comes with we've done it before. We've done it these last few seasons. We were doing it at the beginning of this season. We were moving the ball and making a lot of stuff happen. We were just turning the ball over. And then we kind of went through a little spell where we weren't making these drives and continuing these drives, but we were still finding ways to win. And so I knew we were going to click back into it. I've been saying it for weeks. I was like, we're going to find it. We have the guys. We have too many guys that work hard. We have too many great coaches that put in the time. That we're gonna find a way to get stuff going. And if the defense is playing like that, don't let that get overlooked at how they're playing. That's going to make us a great football team.
Patrick, you guys have been pretty open about when you've been struggling and all that and trying to get back right. I'm just wondering, in your mind, are you trying to get back to what you were the last 3 years, or is it chasing something new and different and specific?
No, it's always something new. Obviously, we're a different football team. We have a lot of the same pieces, but we have new guys. And I think with the offensive line, how they're playing right now, to add on with the guys that are stepping up and making plays week in and week out, we're trying to be our own version of the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, we know that it's what it takes because we've been in the Super Bowl games and stuff like that. I think we kind of went back these last few weeks and kind of went back to let's just take it day by day. Let's not worry about the Super Bowl right now. Let's figure out how we can make ourselves better as a team each and every day. And I think that's what you've seen these last 3 weeks of finding ways to get wins.
I think that it seems like the Chiefs have always done a pretty good job, or at least Mahomes has done a pretty good job of the day-by-day thing. But again, to see a performance like this just kind of helps you recalibrate, I think, which makes a lot of sense and is really important to this team right now. The thing we mentioned a little earlier, I talked about with Matt Derrick, was the play calling and what we saw from the team tonight. And Mahomes was asked about how much of that play calling ends up being a part of getting him into a rhythm.
Yeah, they were dialing it up. I mean, I thought they did a great job of marrying the run in the pass game. We had plays that we ran early in the game, kind of like the touchdown to Pringle, that set up plays later. So I mean, it was. I think that they were marrying up the run in the pass game really well. They were calling plays to get guys open versus both coverages. Really, the 2-3 coverages that the team with the I almost said Chargers, the Oakland was doing. And so whenever they're calling plays like that, it makes my job a lot easier.
He almost said Chargers, and then he did say Oakland. That look, if Tom Brady calls him Oakland, that's fine. Patrick Mahomes, I mean, look, you're gonna have to play them as the Las Vegas Raiders for a lot longer than you saw them as Oakland. And I'm starting to wonder if Mahomes is really focused enough on football. I mean, it's just, he doesn't even know what city they're in. Are you kidding me? I'll allow it. They're the Oakland Raiders of Las Vegas now, in my mind. Last clip here from Patrick Mahomes. He was asked about that second touchdown pass to Tyreek Hill and how Hill said Mahomes actually called that play.
Yeah, we called a play, I think it was 2 or 3 plays before that, where we had a run play called, and it was the same thing, marrying the plays. It was the same where we had that action, and I kind of carried out that fake, and I saw the corner and the safety kind of bite down on me, trying to stop the run, obviously. And so when I went back to the sideline, I told Coach Reid, like, hey, he already had a play call, I was like, the next one, let's call this play again. They're going to bite on it. And so I kind of wrote it, and I acted like I was read optioning it, and kind of went to the right, and the corner just kind of bit down enough, and the linebacker bit, so I knew I just got to get over the top to Tyreek.
That's kind of interesting. That's pretty cool. And that'll do it for the conclusion there of our time with Patrick Mahomes for this evening. What we'll do now is take a break here on the Sports Radio 810 WHB Postgame Show. It's brought to you by the Missouri Lottery. Remember to play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. More play and more power with Powerball with Double Play. For an extra $1, players have the chance to win up to $10 million in a separate drawing. Missouri Lottery, play responsibly. Also brought to you by CBD American Shaman. Free CBD samples every day. We'll hear from Raiders interim head coach for now, I guess, but Raiders head coach Rick Bisaccia whenever we come back here on Sports Radio 810.
You're listening to exclusive post-game coverage on Kansas City's home for the NFL. Sports Radio 810 WHB, presented by the Missouri Lottery and CBD American Shaman.
Attention men, have you ever been embarrassed when the time was right, but you just couldn't perform? Well, now you can. The secret is one visit to the Kansas City Men's Clinic. Erectile dysfunction is a medical condition that can be treated successfully, regardless of age or medical history. So, if you are one of thousands of men who have trouble getting or maintaining an erection, or both, and the pills and other remedies just don't work, the Kansas City Men's Clinic can help. For a limited time, a confidential consultation and all testing, including PSA and testosterone, is only $49. And if the medication doesn't work, your visit is absolutely free. If you have erectile dysfunction or you just want to perform much better, call now. 816-608-8189 or go to thekansascitymensclinic.com. Get your confidence back. Call 816-608-8189. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Golfers, it's time to tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the biggest Callaway trade-in event of the year. Starting this Thursday through Sunday, bring in any of your old clubs and receive a 75% trade-in bonus towards new Apex irons and Epic woods. Both the Apex and Epic families are designed with artificial intelligence for faster ball speeds. Go to worldwidegolfshops.com or call the store nearest you to schedule your free custom fitting today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee.
You know Aldi's all about saving you money, but did you also know they're all about giving back? That's why this year they're the official location for the Sports Radio 810 WHB Holiday Food Drive. From November 18th to November 21st, Kansas City area Aldi stores will have collection boxes for local food pantries. So next time you're out shopping for turkey, cranberries, and pumpkin pie, grab a few extra items and give someone else a Thanksgiving meal. Aldi. Shop differently.
KC tradition since 1957 and voted the best steak in Kansas City, Hereford House is a locally owned steakhouse that has served generations of Kansas Cityans. Hereford House exclusively serves certified Hereford beef. All their steaks are aged 21 days, hand-cut daily, and grilled over an open charcoal flame. Go to HerefordHouse.com for hours, new menu items, and to make your reservations. Follow Hereford House on Facebook and Instagram for exclusive specials. Hereford House, voted Kansas City's favorite steakhouse.
At BOK Financial, we believe that no financial challenge is too big and no opportunity too small. We're guided by our commitment to make a difference in the communities we serve. BOK Financial, we are community focused.
What's up, Kansas City? Jake Gutierrez here to tell you about my friends from Lightstream, a division of SunTrust Bank. Are you thinking about the high interest rate credit cards you used over the holidays? I am. When it comes to refinancing your credit cards, you've got options. But only Lightstream was ranked #1 by J.D. Power for customer satisfaction with personal loans. Lightstream's credit card consolidation loans start at just 5.95% APR with autopay and excellent credit. You could save yourself thousands in interest. You can even get your money the same day that you apply. Apply today for a credit card consolidation loan from the company J.D. Power, ranked #1 for customer satisfaction in personal loans. Plus, get an additional interest rate discount simply by going to lightstream.com/Jake. It's lightstream.com/Jake. Subject to credit approval, rates range from 5.95% APR to 19.99% APR. Include 0.50% autopay discount. Lowest rates require excellent credit. Terms and conditions apply. Offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/Jake for more information.
Tired of searching for sports updates in different places? The Xfinity Sports Zone gives you the ultimate sports hub experience. Find games, commentary, news, and highlights all in one place. Use the voice remote to get instant access to stats and scores. Just say, "Show me NASCAR" or "Soccer scores." Plus, get notifications with breaking news alerts and more when the game's about to start. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit an Xfinity store for details. Restrictions apply. Requires Xfinity TV service with X1.
If you're ready for a new vehicle, it's time to visit Robert Brogdon Buick GMC in Olathe. They're offering 0% financing on many new Buick and GMC models, including the 2022 Buick Envision or GMC Acadia. Plus, the 2021 GMC Yukon and Sierra heavy duty and light duty trucks are now available. At Brogdon, they don't just sell cars, they buy them too. Even if you don't trade in your vehicle, they'll still buy yours. Visit robertbrogdon.com or see them in person at I-35 in Santa Fe and Olathe. Must qualify and finance through GMF for special APR.
Listen up, sporting fans. Central Bank of the Midwest invites you to score a better banking experience with our new sporting checking account. Now you can show off your team spirit at the match or on the go with the official sporting debit card. Plus, you'll gain access to Central Bank's award-winning mobile app with more than 30,000 reviews and a 4.9-star rating. So, score big today by opening your sporting checking account at any of our convenient Central Bank locations or by visiting sportingchecking.com. Member FDIC.
Line, nobody from last year remaining. Second and goal. Mahomes floats one wide open. Tyreek Hill. Touchdown. So 2 touchdowns tonight for number 10.
That was the play you just heard Patrick Mahomes talking about a little bit before the break. And as we inch closer to 1 a.m. Central Time here on Sports Radio 810, we will get you the voice of the head coach of the Raiders, Rich Bisaccia, who's taken over for John Gruden. Done a pretty good job so far. The Raiders have also had plenty of turmoil that is certainly not his fault. And tonight, it was just an absolute laid egg from Vegas and an excellent performance from the Chiefs, which I imagine that most people within the sound of my voice will have no problem with that result. Let's go ahead and hear from Rich Bisaccia, but first, I'll let you know that our opposing coach press conference is always brought to you by Metcalf CarStar. If your vehicle gets sacked on the road, take it to Metcalf CarStar, the collision repair experts. They make it convenient and easy to get back on the road. Go to carstar.com and search for Metcalf CarStar. CarStar, relax, they'll take it from here. Here's Raiders interim head coach Rich Bisaccia.
Obviously, very disappointing performance today, by all of us. And, if you start with the certainly minus again the turnovers, just way too many penalties, untimely, whatever you want to call them. We had a 4th down penalty, a 3rd down penalty, flipped it around on defense, had a penalty, them going in the red zone. And This is the kind of game you really got to play well in all three phases, playing against a team like this, and we really didn't play well in any of the three phases. We didn't play well in the kicking game, gave up a tip punt, gave up a fake punt down there plus 50, and big penalty as well from the sideline. But, we gave up way too many explosive plays on defense, didn't have enough explosive plays on offense, only had 20 plays in the first half on offense, never really got in a rhythm. And then I thought we flipped it around, came back out, big drive, start second half with a touchdown, and we stopped them. And then we hit Deshaun on a big play down there, and we turned the ball over. A little bit of maybe a turning point in the game to some degree. And then we just kind of, the bottom came out after that. Uncharacteristically, I didn't think we tackled very well. We'd been doing that, I thought, as of late. And then again, just, turnovers again late in the game. So I'll answer any questions you may have.
Rich, Willie Ramirez with the Associated Press. You spoke about Deshaun's play. Even as well as they were playing compared to the mistakes you were making, that one play may have changed a little bit of the momentum, 24-14. I'm sure he'd love to have that play back, and he feels bad. Did you have a chance to talk to him? Just curious what he was. I know he turned inward instead of upward.
Yeah,
just a
again,
tough break.
Played a lot of football. You know what I mean? Did a great job getting open. I thought Derrick did a great job getting the ball, and it came out. So it's not the turning point maybe in the whole game, but certainly it was a little bit of a momentum swing, back to them where I thought we were getting ready to go down and get us another drive. So I said something to him just about just keep battling. He's been through those things before, so we're looking forward to him hopefully having a bigger role as we get going here.
Hey, Rich, what was the plan against Travis Kelce, and why was they giving you so much trouble today? What were they doing that was giving you guys so much trouble?
Well, obviously, I'll get with Gus on that, but we wanted to play coverage early, and then we changed up some of the coverages a little bit. I know he had a big day. He's been a pain in the Raiders side for a long time, and credit to them. They did a good job of getting him in position to make a lot of plays today. So we'll kind of get that figured out as we get going.
The receiver room has been a little thin in recent weeks, and you kind of reloaded at that. But with Hunter Renfrow and Brian Edwards stepping up, did what they do tonight, did that really show a lot of promising signs for you just for the future of the rest of the season?
Well, I think they've been playing well. Certainly Hunter's been playing well. And then I think because of some of the things that we did with Zay today and got Waller bracketed a little bit, that it opened Brian up a little bit to have some explosive plays. Did a good job of hanging on the ball and scoring a touchdown down there for us. So, I guess you could say that, but, Hunter's had a really prominent role as we've been playing all year, and then I think, again, some things opened up with some of the routes that we had on the outside for Brian to get open inside a little bit today.
What were the issues on third down on offense? You guys finished, 1 for 9. And how difficult does that make it to get into?
Yeah, again, third down woes today, and then certainly in the first half, just not enough plays, to get ourselves going, and then we just didn't do a very good job in third down. We played from behind most of the game, put ourselves in position with some of the penalties to go from some 3rd and 5s and 3rd and 6s to 3rd and longs. So we have to clean that up.
Rich, your pass defense had been really strong all year coming into this one. Obviously, the Chiefs had a big day through the air. I know you obviously have to watch the film and kind of deep dive into it, but just first glance, what did you notice as some of the main issues out there when it came?
Well, obviously, he's tough to get to. We knew that going into the game. We had talked about how explosive they are on offense, and he gets rid of the ball in a hurry. He drops real deep. So I thought we had good pass rush all day. We just couldn't get our hands on him, couldn't get to him. And, he can always extend plays, whether it's third down or whether it's during the course of a series of downs, which he did tonight. Got himself in great position, obviously in and out of the pocket some to make plays downfield.
There's Rich Bisaccia, the Raiders' current head coach. Another thing to mention here, I just saw this pop up on SVP's Sports Center in front of me. The AFC West right now, with the Chiefs back at the top of it, next week, everyone's got 5 wins except for the Chiefs, who have 6. Felt a couple weeks ago like that might not be the case. But it's 5 wins the whole way out except for Kansas City. And the Chargers and Raiders have both had their bye, right? Chiefs have their bye in 2 weeks. The Broncos have their bye next week. But right now for next week's matchups, Chiefs have the Cowboys, the Chargers have the Steelers, and the Raiders have the Bengals. Now, both of those AFC South teams, the Steelers and the Bengals, have both had pretty high highs and pretty miserable lows. I don't know if Ben Roethlisberger is going to be able to play. He didn't play today with COVID symptoms and everything, and they tied with the hapless Lions. And they've had some good moments, and that defense has been healthy. The Bengals have been incredibly up and down, and the Cowboys have also. I mean, they got beat by the Broncos last week, and then destroyed the Falcons earlier today. So. I will say, I would imagine close betting lines in all three of those games next week, as the Chiefs could, with a win over Dallas, secure their hold in the AFC West, even through their bye week, which is pretty good. Let's go ahead and also, since we got a tiny bit of time left here in tonight's show, let's hear a little bit from Derek Carr. I've actually generally enjoyed hearing from Carr in his various press conferences. Unfortunately for them, obviously, they've had some very, serious, ungood things to talk about. I am curious to hear from Derek Carr just about their offensive performance tonight and the Chiefs' defense putting up a really good effort. Here's the Raiders quarterback.
Hi, Derek. I was just wondering, Deshaun Jackson obviously got a few plays in the game, but how much would you say you think he was able to pick up this week in his short amount of time he's been here?
I think with what the coaches asked him to do and what to learn and things like that, I thought he did a great job. And so it's hard to just come in and pick up this whole offense in a short amount of time, just a couple of days. But I thought he picked it up mentally, did a great job. He did a great job on that deep ball. There was probably another one I could have thrown to him, but I had to run on one. And then he's really close from having a big day, but he had another one where he cleared it out, and Zay caught a big play across the middle. So I thought he did a good job.
Derek, I'm sure that Deshaun would love to have that play back and maybe make a different decision in the direction that he went. When you come off the field after a play like that, you're down by 10, could have changed a complexion maybe. I'm sure you had some words for him, some encouragement. What would you say to him? Just curious.
I don't remember exactly, but I just encouraged him. Just keep going. That's all we can do. So much time left in the game. He's just trying to make a play. I don't fault him, but he'll watch it and learn from it. However, and EB will talk to him and he'll grow from it. But he's a good player, man. He a lot of speed out there. He helped set their safeties back a little farther when he's on the field. It was good to see.
Hey, Derek, did you feel like the guys came out a little tight tonight? So what was your impression of how you guys came out? Obviously, a big game, big stage. I mean, a disappointing result. What was your sense of the team's performance and their attitude, I guess?
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't feel like anyone was, stressing out or anything like that. I've been around guys that you could feel it a little bit, but I didn't really feel that. We were so close. Like, you think about it, maybe, I don't know, but. Because we're so close from 3 more huge plays, here and there. But I don't know. It'd be once I watch the film and see, was it this, was it that, and you get a feel. Really, the next day recapping of really what went wrong.
Derek, you obviously been in this spot before. You guys get off to a good start, and then things start going poorly. What makes you believe that this year is different? What can you do to sort of stop that spiral?
I think we're just a better team. Honestly, we got better players. Now that doesn't result in wins. I've been on teams that are really talented that underperformed. So I just really believe in our group. It's a close group. Football, you gotta be tight. You gotta do it together. The things that we messed up today, I mean, it's so correctable. I think that's what gives me, oh yeah, we could do it. It wasn't like we just got outmanned. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to describe it that way. I really believe that, that this group is just different. It's just being around them. I'm around them every day. It's just a different group.
There's Raiders quarterback Derek Carr after a tough offensive performance by them. Here's a stat courtesy of Craig Stout of KCSN. The Chiefs defense allowed, Beards, you're good at these games. How many yards do you think the Chiefs defense allowed on 3rd down tonight against the Raiders?
205.
How about -3?
Wow.
You were so wrong. -205 3 yards.
Seemed like a little bit of a stretch. You're right.
-3 yards allowed on 3rd down. Where the Chiefs had a hard time getting off the field defensively this year. Not the case tonight. They didn't really have any difficulty in pretty much any aspect of this game. Patrick Mahomes goes 35 of 50 for over 400 yards, back to averaging a nice 8.1 yards per pass. 5 touchdowns through the air from Patrick Mahomes. Freudian slip because he barely had a better quarterback rating than Tommy Townsend. 1 for 1 for 16. What else could you ask for from Tommy Townsend? The Chiefs were able to run the ball pretty effectively and did that as they desired. They threw the ball effectively, even though it was a lot of Travis Kelce. Good to see him working again today. Darrell Williams has over 100 yards receiving. Tyreek Hill with 2 touchdowns. A touchdown for Byron Pringle, 1 for Noah Gray as well. Everything going well for the Kansas City Chiefs in a 41-14 victory over the Las Vegas Raiders. We'll talk to you again next week as the Chiefs are in sole possession of first place in the AFC West.